What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a brand new episode, a brand new show of the Casually Chelsea show. It's been a while. Sorry for the tardiness on that, ladies and gents. It's just that Chelsea news has been pretty dry, and I've been, instead of having a tiny show, figured let's wait till the news accumulates a little bit and we can actually have a proper talk about everything related to Chelsea and all the stuff that's been going on with Chelsea Football Club. But I'm accompanied here by the panel of Ahmed, the Bridge 258, Will, as well as Oliver, and myself, Marshalldbdx. We'll be accompanied by more people shortly, I'm sure. But as always, guys, be sure to smash up the like buttons if you haven't done so. We are on our way to 3K subscribers, so it helps us out with the algorithm and discoverability. And listen, the subscriber count has been lacking. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to keep it honest with you guys. It's been slacking. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's so hard. I don't know why people pretend like they don't have fingers and they can't click and do things anymore. Listen, I'm sure there's some respect to the handicapped people in our chat that are perfectly capable of smashing that subscribe button and being a part of our community and helping us achieve the 3K. Some of you bums, and let's call it like it is, bums like our Chelsea players, have not been smashing that subscribe. And you know what? 60% of you guys have been caught lacking. So I'm just saying, smash up the subscribe, help us get to 3K. There's no reason why we shouldn't be anywhere near close. Even Chris is here, you know? Yeah. Smash up the subscribe so that we can head our way to 3K because it helps us out tremendously with the channel. We should be well on our way to 3K by now. And the guys in the chat, the guys watching, you're slacking like Chelsea. You're slacking like United today. You're slacking like Spurs today. Don't be like them. Be champions. Be like Man City. Be like Real Madrid. Smash the subscribe.
You know
That's my
is,
spiel for that
Marshall.
one.
You know what it is, Marshall? You said Chris is always here, and you know, Chris has got he's got his own dog as his profile picture. I mean, a dog's always going to be there for you. So I mean, I don't know why you said that.
Wait, what have I missed?
Chris is always here because he subscribes, just like everyone else that is always here needs to subscribe. Exactly, A. Solomon. I got the fresh trim, and now I'm giving you the fresh take on life. Subscribe because Casually FC is life. That's the whole moral of this whole entire thing. That's the whole moral of this whole entire spiel. Subscribe to Casually FC if you subscribe to life. There you go. Let's do the rest of the spiel. Hit the bell notification. I don't know. I could not make it make sense in my head, but it's okay. It doesn't need to make sense. You just need to accept it and subscribe. So be sure to hit the bell notification so you're notified whenever we go live. Check out the links in the description for all other content, including the Bridge 258 and all the other stuff. Be sure to hit the comment section. Let us know your thoughts on everything we're going to be discussing. And check out the memberships. 99p. If you're a potch out, you'll become a member. I'm just saying. So, ladies and gents, we're going to start off the show with news. Ramp it up as we usually do and get into it. But welcome to the Casually Chelsea show, which is your one-stop shop for everything Chelsea related, all the news since the last time we discussed. It's pretty much our live podcast here that we do. So sit back, relax. We're going to have some banter. We're going to talk. And the first topic that we're going to be bringing up is, guys, your favorite thing to discuss is always whenever they start implementing new things to the sport. And that is the offside technology. So let's bring up my screen here for those of you watching on YouTube, and let's discuss. So Premier League clubs unanimously agreed to the introduction of semi-automated offside technology after autumn international break, according to Henry Winter. Who is this Henry Winter character, you might ask? Sports science journalist. And we are the FSA Journalist of the Year. Okay, I don't know who you are.
He used to basically be on the Times until 3 days ago when he was made redundant.
There we go. Damn.
He was there for 20 years.
And this is his attempt to become relevant again by telling us we are getting offside technology.
I mean,
so
it's quite relevant, bro.
Ahmed knows about it.
With the political side of football as well. Like I've seen a lot of reports linked with him and Man United, Chelsea.
So what you're saying is he was roaming out.
And I don't know about that. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm just making lecherous accusations at this point. But anyways, semi-automated offside technology rule. What do we think about this? Because first analysis of this, I'm thinking no. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be destined to fail from the jump. Obviously, it's not going to be refined like we've refined the offside rule so far. It took us, 3 or 4 seasons to refine that offside rule to consider what is actually offside, what part of the body is. And even then, this season, we've had howlers with offside. I guess this is supposed to prevent more of that, the human error side of football, but I feel like it's not going to go smoothly at first. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, it was fine in the World Cup, so...
We had it in the World Cup?
Yes, we did. It was great.
Oh, well, never mind. Take everything.
It was really, really good.
As well with like semi-automated technology in the Premier League, I mean, we have something similar for goal line technology, and it's only failed once in however many years. So,
well, that's because it wasn't even turned on, so it didn't really fail by its own device. But...
I was gonna say, man, imagine we had this when Lukaku scored that goal, man. We could have been Carabao winners, man. But no, we have to be like, a toenail or a hand it's classed as an offside. I like it like this. I prefer it like this. It's more natural to me because, let's face facts, you can't score with your hand. You can't even get advantage with your hand. Like, you can't even do nothing with your hand. Like, why call it as offside? I never understand that. Even though my boy Timo got robbed of plenty of goals from that, so...
Your boy Timo, oh my...
Your boy
Timo
still be
Get him! 5 minutes sin bin! Put him in the sin bin now, Marshall. Sin bin him. Sin bin him for that. Can't believe he said that, man. This is... Oh my god. That was outrageous, man.
Is it lonely? Is it lonely backstage, Chris? Is it?
You call that 5 minutes? That's not 5 minutes. That's like
That's extended 5 minutes. It's like FIFA time. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're playing EAFC and it's a 90-minute game, but it really is like 20 minutes. That's what we did. Yeah. It was kind of like that.
You know a fun fact? We could have had this season, but they rejected it because they thought it was too costly. Now they've just decided to put it in.
Wasn't it the clubs didn't vote for it?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. We could have had this for this season, but the clubs rejected it. Now they've accepted it.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Wait, but there's the burden of so implementing this into the game. That means that every team has to implement it into their stadium. So it comes out of the team's pockets. Is that how I'm understanding it?
Yes, it does.
Sheesh.
You didn't know that? That's why even
No.
the goal line technology also comes out of their pocket. The stuff to connect to VAR actually comes from the Premier League, so that's a bit different.
I remember Luton. That's to a
What
bunch
about
of
4K cameras? Is that on Premier
stuff.
League or is that every team?
That's actually on them too.
Oh wow! No wonder we don't. Well, that's so
Because
weird because the Serie A has so many.
Because remember, in the UK, so for us here, BT and Sky and Amazon are the streamers, right? They are streaming the show. They're making the show happen. But they don't bring, the only cameras they bring are the ones to film themselves when they're stalking. But the actual in-game camera is provided by the club, and they actually have to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it.
Yeah. No, he was sent back to stage. Don't worry. Even though my man Timo, he's not doing so hot either, even with this implemented offside rule. But the less we speak.
Can I be honest? Can I be honest, Marshall? Yeah, I feel like you're a fraud as well, man. You know what I'm saying?
I am? Why?
Because how can you not know about the stuff I'm speaking about? You know what I mean? You claim
I didn't know the finances of it. Listen, the channel is called Casually FC, not because I'm an expert.
Listen, but eventually we need to leave the casualness into some level of you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like 5 years down the road when I can't be considered a casual anymore.
Hey, Marshall's a student of the game, man.
I'm still new to the club. You know what I'm saying? I still got my first season blunders in me. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say something crazy, but you know what I mean? my body,
technically, it's my second season.
You know what I mean? My head, you know, kept itself right.
There you go. Let's hope your head keeps itself right through this through this week of Champions League football, man, because there's a lot of agendas on the line, and someone's gonna have to get caught lacking. I'm just saying.
The only agenda, the only agenda that matters is Chelsea getting European football for me right now. Everything else can fuck off.
I think that's everyone else. Yeah, that's all of our agendas, to be honest. But yeah. So let's see. I hope it happens soon. Next season. Let's say. I hope it actually. What I meant by that is that I hope they actually come through with this and actually pull the trigger. And this isn't just
saying it should be available. They're saying it should be available after the
autumn internet. So that's going to be October of next season. October or November.
I do have an opinion on that though, and I'll say this: if they can't start the season with it, then don't implement it. Right. Leave it till the season after. You shouldn't have matches before the international break that are being tainted by poor refereeing versus the ones afterwards. That it just creates a bit of an unevenness, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I can't disagree because you know what's going to happen, and Will, your internet's moving a little wonky, I'm not going to lie. You know what's going to happen is that they're going to implement it, and it's going to be a scandal. It's always a scandal whenever they implement these things first time, and then it becomes a bit of a nuisance and eye roller, to be honest. So I agree. I wish they would implement it, at least get the kinks out and the bugs out during the off season, and then roll into the new seasons with this more finessed out, because there is going to be errors. I already know there's going to be bugs and errors to this.
The thing is, though, like as with all things with the technology, and including VAR, that's going to be down to the Premier League's protocol and the way the referees use it. Because the technology itself, as you saw in the World Cup, works flawlessly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's see what happens with it. I think you guys are right. We'll figure this out, and hopefully it helps in the long run, because I did like it in the World Cup. I think the World Cup, for the most part, was, of all the tournaments we've seen run by FIFA, I think it was really, really run really smoothly. There was no referee scandals, none of that. So we
just gets rid of drawing those lines as well, man. That's some of those tedious stuff I've seen in the football game, drawing the lines in the VAR.
Yeah, it does speed up the process too, which, you know, I know some people do complain that football matches have been taking the VAR decisions take away from the football matches, which I personally don't really care for it, but I mean, I understand where people come from. All right, let's go to the next topic that I wanted to bring up for you guys, and that's going to be new profit and sustainability rules. This is going to lead us to a bunch of other discussions that we're going to have in regards to stadium renovations, as well as the finances of Chelsea Football Club, which we have to Ahmed, your avatar, which we do have to discuss. So let's go to the next tweet here. Premier League clubs have agreed in principle to introduce new financial rules. They voted today to progress with new squad cost ratio rules to replace current profit and sustainability rules. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If I understand this correctly, what they're implying pretty much is that we're going to expand what the limits are in terms of the profit and sustainability budget, so teams can have more flexibility on how much they can spend. And I feel like if that's the way I understand it, then I feel like that is fair, considering that the price of players on average has risen to a new high. You have the Mbappes of the world pushing the boundaries of how much players are going to cost. You have Haaland before his release clause was triggered, how much he was going to cost. Even right now, Osimhen and Declan Rice and all these just our players, Enzo and Caicedo. It's just the price of a player now, and the contracts have gone to such crazy heights that I don't see how it's even sustainable. But until that bubble bursts, I don't really know how it's going to change. But I mean, what are your guys' interpretation of this? Am I accurate in what I say?
I don't really know. Like I've kind of struggled to interpret this myself.
It's really vague, to be honest.
All I can really say is that, like, I just think, you know, because once again, this is another thing, just like the offside thing, voted on by the clubs. They've seen what happened to Everton with the 2 deductions, and then Nottingham Forest with their 1, and they're scared. Mm-hmm. They want it changed because they see that there's actually tangible action being taken upon people that break these rules.
Yeah, and it makes sense to have these changes for the examples that you just stated as well. I mean, I think no club is run cleanly, I would say, right? There are going to be, rules that are broken financially and all sorts, but I would say like most clubs at least try their best to remain within those financial rules. So I also think in time some of these rules do get outdated and they don't necessarily reflect current affairs and current time and finances in terms of football. So to have it revised and make it so that, like I said, if I understand correctly, give these teams more flexibility in terms of what they can do financially, then kudos to the Premier League, kudos to the league for giving him that option and the teams for voting for it. Because it's these players nowadays and their contracts are ridiculous now. I think the average price of a player is probably like an experienced player. I think the average price of an experienced player is probably like anywhere from 60 to 70 mil.
I'm not surprised that this would be put on the table by the Premier League, though, because when you look at all the parties involved, the clubs and the league, it's in everyone's best interest that no one gets punished. The Premier League don't want to have to sanction Man City and Chelsea because then that'll affect their standing, and like, who knows? I'm not saying it will happen, but if City get done 115 charges, could be relegation. Maybe they don't want that, but they'd be forced to do it based on the integrity of the rules. And they don't want to get rid of them. So I'm not surprised.
Wait, did you say the Premier League doesn't want to get rid of Man City?
No, of course not.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they won't want to get... Man City, like or not, like they are...
They don't want to get rid of any of the top...
They bring in a lot of money to the Premier League, to the, everybody around involved in the Premier League. There's no way I don't think they relegate them. They're giving points deduction, transfer ban, Champions League ban, maybe. They punish him, so the public are more happy about it, and other Premier teams may be happy about it. But there's no way they're banning relegating Man City. This talk of Man City back to where they belong and down relegation. It's hope,
It's a lot of hopium.
It's a lot of that. So it is what it is. People got dream and hope, but there's no way City get relegated. I'd be very surprised if they did that, because when we was all about to leave the Super League and all that, go to the Super League.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They was begging for us not to do it. They was literally bitching about these clubs leaving, and I'm running dry from the Premier League. If we all left, the Premier League's finished. It's completely done. So
I wouldn't say completely done, but I would say it does affect their finances quite a bit.
They don't get the money. They won't get the money, TV rights, and it would be finished.
If the Big Six left, your biggest club's probably Aston Villa.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It would have to be the Big Six leaving. Yeah. Like if Chelsea were to go, or let's just say, for example, if Chelsea, Man City were to leave, then Newcastle and Aston Villa probably take their place. But if it was a whole Big Six sweep,
Liverpool and Arsenal are there now.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, there's still big teams in there that people would want to watch that have a big fan base, and Newcastle, despite what people may think, like you're going to see within the next 3 to 5 years a resurrection in their fan base, and they're going to they're going to basically become the next Man City if they play their cards right. So
they need to get over. They need to get over profit and sustainability rules themselves as well, because remember, the Lewis Hall loan with obligation, or the loan with a clause, whatever, they had to do that because they couldn't pay us last year because they weren't compliant with FFP at that time, so they had to delay the payment. So they've still got to increase their revenues and whatnot, and win tournaments to get prize money and stuff like that. They've still got a long way to go. So once again, they probably would have voted on this because there's more leeway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So
if I may interject,
go for it, Ahmed.
In this, sorry, the reason why you can see, got myself nice little Vancouver Grizzlies, you know what I mean? Little bit of the, a little bit of NBA nation, you know what I'm saying? Is because that's what we're trying to become. This is a classic. It's a classic.
Okay.
So the reason why I brought that out is because that's what we're trying to do currently. I feel like the league doesn't want to relegate a lot of these top teams, and that's just the reality of the situation, bro. And I think this probably will set a precedent for other leagues as well, by the way. So it wouldn't. What I mean by that, Marshall, is that if they can do luxury tax now, imagine that Barcelona The reason why they've been losing so many of their top players is because guess what? They have to meet FFP rules. But if you give them a luxury tax, they have to face. They're not gonna care about that. You know what's gonna happen? They're gonna be like, yeah, we'll pay that up for you. They'll get some random sponsor to do that for them, and then they'll be able to get all the top players they want and pay them the big bucks that they need to pay them. So for me, this actually, by the way, so I don't, from what I know, these rules I think are due to be accepted. But I think for me, in regards to both Man City and Chelsea, I think in terms of the stuff that's the old stuff, will probably be judged by the old rules by. But let's say if you break the FFP rules either this year, this season, or the next season after, it will probably be what will probably happen is that we will get a luxury tax hit. Does that make sense, Marshall?
Yes.
That's what's probably gonna happen.
Wait, I'm sorry if you did say this. I missed it because I'm like working on the show at the same time. But is there a league that currently has a luxury tax?
Yeah, I said that the NFL has it, NBA has it. If I'm not,
I mean,
mistaken.
in football though. I mean,
not in football. That's what I'm saying to you. So again,
Okay.
It's like I think this is people are not gonna like me saying this, but it's basically like the Americanization of sports essentially, where they're just now adding luxury taxes and other stuff essentially to it. Do you get what I'm saying to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. Just real quickly, let me just send the link over to Strasbourg Steve. We've always welcomed on the show because this man knows football. But before Steve joins in, let's talk to a man who knows engineering. If he's still here, Ahmed. Shit.
Listen, I am here. There's a software with my chair. I'm just fixing it. Give me one moment.
Okay. Do your thing. All right. So
Just throw it a few times to sort it out.
Yeah. No, there's a few things to discuss in terms of the stadium rebuild. And there's a bit of news as well in regards to certain hotels and stuff. Listen, I haven't been. I also take the time on this show to catch up on news myself. So welcome, Strasbourg Steve. So let's read a little bit about this. Let me inform myself as well, and then let's see what this. Hey, nice.
Got that four-pack.
Peruvian legend right there.
Tottenham came to St. James's Park for no reason, bro. It's crazy.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm feeling
On the
good.
force.
Sorry, bro.
No, you're good.
Basically, what happened was my chair. Basically, one of the wheels accidentally broke, so I had to reattach it to make sure my balance. You know what I mean? Balance. Love.
Okay.
Let's get back into it, boy.
I'm thinking other things, but I got you. All right.
It's not from sex. Anyone else is, it's not from
That's
sex.
also not what I was thinking about. What the- Okay, let's get into this. So Chelsea executives Chris Jurassic and Jason Gannon have been put in charge of the club's redevelopment plans for Stamford Bridge. They are still considering their options: a complete Stamford Bridge rebuild, stand-by stand redevelopment, or a move to a new site. So this isn't really anything new. We've known that we've been stuck in this situation for quite some time now. Now, going on to the next part of the segment here is Chelsea have held discussions with Populous, the firm which completed work on the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in 2019, but are yet to appoint a replacement architect for Smith. Populous declined to comment. Now, if I'm not mistaken, does this have to do with that Jason Gannon fella that we got from? Is he the one that we got from Tottenham?
No, that was like the PR thing. Was it? I don't know.
That was to do with the sponsorship deals and stuff. That's what.
Oh no, that's sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
He's the commercial guy.
Got it. Okay. So there are discussions being held, and things are happening in terms of the stadium. Same guys that rebuilt the Spurs Stadium. Which, listen, as much as you might despise White Hart Lane, it's a state-of-the-art stadium, and we need that. So we continue. Chelsea also sold a hotel to Blueco for £76.3 million. Chelsea say this was done in line with Premier League rules and was run past the league. The Premier League has been contacted for comment. I don't know who Dan Sheldon is. Let me see. Football news reporter covering Manchester City, Manchester United for The Athletic. Interesting. So it's The Athletic. Not sure what the purpose of this comment is. I don't know why a United or City expert. Well, hold on. Let me finish the tweets. We'll come back to this because an initial thought when I read this was this is just about potentially more land that we could use to expand the stadium. But let's continue. And also, I thought this was a given because Roman owned those hotels. I'm pretty sure. But we'll come back. Okay, this is a big part here. So Ben Jacobs is a quick summary of all these things happening with the rebuild and in terms of Blue Co. Right. So. Bear with me, guys, because this is a Ben Jacobs tweet, and we know these are long. So, Blue Co. has completed the acquisition of Sir Oswald Stoll Mansion site. Chelsea FC and Stoll have worked in close consultation with London Borough and of Hammersmith and Fulham Council. Blue Co.'s acquisition of the 1.9-acre site precedes Stoll's agreement to require 128 affordable housing properties. Chelsea COO Jason Gannon says, "We appreciate the opportunity to work with Stoll throughout a competitive tender process, and we are pleased to help ensure those veterans that wish to remain inside the borough of Hammersmith and Fulham will be able to do so. Our thanks go to both Stoll and local council, whose leadership has been essential to the process." Going on here, Chelsea cannot start any rebuild of Stamford Bridge until 2027 at the earliest, as part of the £80 million deal to buy a plot of land next to the stadium. The deal clears the path for Chelsea to redevelop Stamford Bridge through the club, though the club is still considering options, which we discussed which options. And then lastly here, Chelsea wants to build a world-class stadium by the end of 2030, but that timeline could be ambitious. Owners Todd Bowley and Clear Lake Capital are yet to communicate a plan for the project. So I'm going to go back to this original tweet right here about the hotel, and Ahmed, you can go on and tell me what you were planning to say. But yeah, that's everything I got.
The thing with Dan Sheldon, and like whenever you hear other people who don't usually talk about stuff in regards to Chelsea, it's usually because it may be in relation to something that's happening at their club, or maybe the source that they have may have revealed something to them, right? And with this one, this is actually just in public record because you can actually see this happening in like if you do.
There is an image floating around on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. You can literally, if you were to go to, because usually this will be like a government record, so like the government would have it like Chelsea FC sold to Blue Co. Company Limited if it's a limited company, etc., etc. So, and part of the reason maybe they might be looking at this because I think maybe one of the charges that Man City may have, I think, might be related to this, if that makes sense. And also, as you know, Chelsea also have their own right? And Chelsea themselves, obviously, we have some historic FFP charges, but that's to do with transfers, of course. So it's not necessarily the same. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And also, this stuff, I think we're going to go into it later when we actually talk about what the hotel was and what that does in relation to our FFP, if that makes sense. So we'll talk about it. We
are going to have it. Right now, this is just on the stadium rebuild, but we do have tweets regarding
that's why,
the financials.
that's why I said, was it called? Yeah, that's why I said we'll talk later. Listen, man. Listen, I know I'm the funniest there, man. You know what I mean? They can't beat the goat. They can't beat the goat like that. But anyway, we move on, man. But in regards to the stadium stuff, again, all it is, you've brought land. We still don't know what's happening with the stadium. Like, when is it going to be built? What is the plan? Are we staying? Are we going? You know, have you heard that? Have you heard that song? Should I stay or should I go? That's literally what Chelsea's doing right now.
Well, I am now demonetized. Thanks, Ahmed. I appreciate you.
What did I do?
No, I'm just kidding. I was making a copyright joke. I just
no. You actually have to. You actually have to have that actual song. You actually have the actual song in. Yeah, but anyway, as I was saying,
a dad joke.
Yeah, that's a bad dad joke.
Listen, but as I was saying, bro, like, listen, we got the land, but like at the end of the day, bro, unless we have a clear path of what we're going to do with the stadium, none of this matters.
Yeah, I mean, 2027 is only 3 years away. If that's when it's gonna start,
it's less than 3 years away at this point, bro.
We're
pretty almost much. We're almost already halfway through the year. Less than 2 months already until we're at June.
But with all this talk about land and stuff, it seems more and more likely that they're just gonna expand on Stamford Bridge, which is gonna take a lot of, just infrastructure work. In terms of like, because you said the tunnels, right? There's the
literally overground rail is behind the stadium.
Yeah,
there's the underground, which is literally under it. There's obviously houses and other commercial stuff that's in and around it too. So listen, if that's the choice they want to go for, that's the choice they're gonna have to go towards, isn't it? If they can't reach an agreement with the Chelsea CPOs in it. So at the end of the day,
Mhm.
so unless you make something where you like, and again, this is just hypothetical. I don't know this stuff off the top of my head. That's the caveat I'm going to give before. Maybe you say we will transfer whatever the CPO has on this land to wherever the new pitch is going to be. I don't know. Maybe that might be an option. But again, you know, is there like a unanimous decision within the CPO to say I don't want to, what's it called? I want to leave for this other club and we'll take our shares over there, or is there like or are they in disagreement? If that makes sense, do you just want to stay at Stamford Bridge because that's like more than just a sentimentality thing? Do you get what I'm saying to you?
Mm-hmm. Actually, Oliver, thank you for showing me this. I'm actually going to pull it up right now. Give me 1 second. Apparently, Oliver just found a tweet that talked about the public record on the hotel acquisition.
This is just like a small screenshot of a document, so I don't know.
I'll read it out loud because it's a little tiny. During the year, the group commenced.
Just read the first paragraph. The second paragraph's irrelevant.
Okay, gotcha. During the year, the group commenced a review and restructure of its real estate portfolio, resulting in the sale of the hotel belongings owned by the group to Blueco 22 Properties Limited, a fellow subsidiary of the intermediate parent company Blueco 22 Limited. This resulted in a profit on disposal of fixed asset of 76.5 million pounds to the group. So there you go. Okay, I'm gonna read okay, you just got me the tweet. Thank you. I was gonna say, can you send me the tweet, please, Ahmed? Give me 1 second.
I'm 1 step ahead of you.
Yes. All right, cool. Let's see. What did you just send me here? Insiders at Chelsea insist that the deal for hotels to be sold was done within Premier League's rules and ran by the competition beforehand, adding that they used 2 independent valuers to ensure a fair price was agreed.
That is a very important thing because one of the things when you're trading assets within like a network, whether it be hotels in a football context, whether it even be like players in a multi-club model, one of the things you have to do, you have to respect market value. You can't sell it for what you can't sell a player for £1 just to transfer them between the clubs. You actually have to match market value. So that's why they're inserting valuers in to try and get a fair valuation on the asset.
Gotcha. Actually, let me just finish this up real quick. Let's transition into this next topic then. 1 second. Boom, boom. All right. So this leads us to discuss a few things in relation to the finances of Chelsea. So let's go over here. Ben Jacobs has a long tweet, so bear with me as I do read this. A few points on Chelsea's 2022-23 accounts. Club maintained they are confident of avoiding PSR breaches. They have been consistent on this point and are keeping with the £105 million allowable losses for the cycle ending in 22-23. There are some concerning numbers at face value. £90.1 million pre-tax losses, a $404 million wage bill, and a £745.2 million spent on new players. 1 July through July and June, so through last season pretty much, with the 454 after the financial year cutoff, and worth bearing in mind ahead of the next books. Amortization is also up from 162.5 million pounds to 205 million. Arguably, the most worrying number is the 249 million operating loss, which is a Premier League high for 2022 and 2023. Leicester 152 and Everton 115 are also, oh wow, they nearly doubled Everton's number there. Actually, they did more than double Everton's number there. Are also in the top 4 operating losses, and both got charged. What were you gonna say, Steve?
That's crazy. I heard something about that you guys at the operating. I didn't know it was that fucking big. Go on.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. But unlike Leicester and Everton, Chelsea raised £203 million from player sales and made a net trading profit of £69.2 million. And crucially, the sale of a hotel from Chelsea to Blueco for £76.3 million is understood to count as part of the PSR calculations, even though it's excluding under EFL rules. It's worth noting this won't help with UEFA's FFP. The next set of books for this season will reflect only Clear Lake Bowley's tenure, and the drop-off year is one with COVID allowances. The £55 million sale of Mason Mount to United is already on next year's books. Newcastle is expected to list Lewis Hall's £28 million when it's triggered on 2025-26, not 24-25.
That got triggered today, by the way.
What happened? That triggered today?
Yep. Because I think Newcastle now confirmed that they can't finish below 15th, and that was the clause.
Woohoo!
Good. All right, that's lovely. Good news. Thank you.
You know what, Lewis Hall? You know what, Lewis Hall? Yeah, he's only played like 2 games and a few appearances, but like, I don't mind that purchase for 28 million. I'm just confused as to why Eddie Howe's giving him a chance. That's just my input on Lewis Hall. But he looks talented, man. And
we're confused too.
Last year. So I'm actually.
I think it's a bit steep for the minutes that he's gotten. I mean, you got Chelsea fans over here. You know, we signed David Washington from Santos, and we're complaining about him, and he's playing in the under-21s. So that's kind of our mentality with it. I don't know about yours, but yeah.
So, in the future, there's some tweets coming up that kind of breaks it down visually, I think. So we'll get to that for those of you who are watching and not listening. But buyer and sell can actually declare a transfer on different financial years under some circumstances. So that one remains a bit unclear for now. Chelsea's wage bill will also decrease when the next season's set of figures come out due to the lack of European football under a new incentive-driven structure. It is understood all new signings from January 2023 agreed to a salary cut if UCL wasn't achieved. This won't entirely compensate for the lack of Champions League or European football this season, though, which is another big hit to the books. Player sales between now and June 30th will provide a fuller picture. Sources still insist that £100 million plus in outgoings are as much about raising funds to help complete a 4-window recruitment plan, as well as navigating an inflated market, which clearly Chelsea have obviously contributed to. The numbers do look relatively bleak, but post-tax and with allowable deductions, they become slightly more palatable, hence why CFC have not been charged to date. Key is how this season affects the club, and regardless of breaches, how much budget they have and or can raise to bring in 3 to 4 key signings this summer. Regardless of domestic financial rule changes expected to be. This is hard to read, guys. I'm sorry. Regardless of domestic, it's fine. I'm finishing up. Okay. Regardless of domestic financial rules changes expected to be ratified this summer, PSR will be in place for the 3-year monitoring cycle ending this season. And even under new rules, points deductions are here to stay. Chelsea insists they are not concerned, and the good news a bit further down the line is they are guaranteed Club World Cup income. This can be put on the 2024-2025 books of next season, even though the tournament ends mid-July. I forgot we're going to be in a Club World Cup tournament. But, I mean, let's break that part down before we continue on with more of the financial woes here, because that was a lot to understand. But it seems, for some reason, somehow, some shape or form. Go for it, Ahmed, because my brain is rattled right now.
Yeah, so let's go to the top first, so then we can at least understand it, right? So,
so much, man.
All right, so
yeah, I'm rattled.
I can't believe how much. I got a little bit lost at the end. I can't lie.
So essentially,
imagine reading it, Chris.
So apparently, Chelsea have a 404 million wage bill that was from July 2022 to June 2023. So remember, the reason why we have such a large wage book and the amount
that's last season. For those of you who are trying to understand it,
obviously we know what we did in January, right? Where we just went crazy with the players that we all bought.
Yeah.
Obviously, in that summer. In the summer of 2022, Koulibaly, Kukurea, Fofana, etc. So that all makes sense. Plus the wages of the guys that are still here: Ziyech, Pulisic, Havertz, Mount, Thiago Silva, everyone else. So that there's all of that stuff that's occurred in that period of time. So that's all it was. Now, in regards to the operating cost, we all know the reason why the operating when did it start again? Let me double check. 1st of July 2022. So one of the reasons why the operating cost was so high, obviously, they're just taking over the club. Obviously, we had also not been able to use our credit cards or anything of the sort, if you guys all remember. So we probably had some level of funding that was remaining from that period of time, which had to be paid off, which probably makes sense if you think about it too. This is just me giving logical reasons as to what it is. It's not just even excuses, by the way, because remember we also had UCL football and stuff, but that doesn't even, I wouldn't say that accounts to it as much. Now in regards to, that's just talking about player sales and how much money you made from the player sales. So that stuff I'm pretty sure everyone understands. Now what I'm not understanding, so the sale of the hotel, where does that go to? So the player of the sale of the hotel for 76.3 million goes to the player and sustainability. So that goes basically towards the EPL's version of FFP. Does that make sense?
I'm trying to find it. It was mentioned in here. Where the fuck was
No,
it?
you was already there. You left it there. Look.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's where it is basically. So to make people understand, the 76.3 million goes towards our FFP to the play sustainability rule calculation. Now, is it for this season upcoming, or is it for the previous season? I just want to confirm with you guys, because that's what I'm not understanding.
I think this is in regards to last season, because then he goes on. All right, then the next set of books for 2023, 2024 will reflect.
All right, so that stuff is for previously. So then, so essentially, everyone understands what's going on there. I'm pretty sure. Now, as for the stuff, move on for next season. They're just talking about, obviously we're going to get 28 million for Lewis Hall. Mason Mount's going to be included in that sale price that we did as well. The only other thing that he's talking about is that we may need to sell some players or make around about 100 million plus, and that European football is not going to be, not getting UCL in particular is obviously going to hurt our books too. That's pretty much it. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah. Class is in effect right now. But what I don't understand, this is the part where I get lost now. What exactly, the operating loss, is that another term for stadium revenue?
No.
The employees of Stamford Bridge?
No. So
I'll Google what it means. Yeah.
No. So essentially, operating means the running of the club. So that means obviously when you say stadium, it means
stadium, maintenance, custodians, the employees.
Obviously,
okay, yeah.
Operating is also going to include Cobham, like our own facility.
Day-to-day running of a business.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it, right? The obviously sales. Actually, I think player wages may be including that, but obviously as well. So what I mean?
Is,
Paying employees.
Yeah. So essentially all of that stuff, right? So that's why the reason why we had that larger thing again. Remember, some of those guys weren't getting paid in that period.
True. So there's back pay. Yeah.
So that's why I was saying to you, the reason why
I would assume there's back pay.
Yeah, the reason why operating cost was so high was because of the fact that essentially, when was Roman lost the club? Was it March or February?
He lost it in February, I want to say, because I remember it was in January.
It was either anyway in February or March. One of those 2 months he lost it, right? And then from then on forwards, we were literally running on something that we didn't basically running on debt.
Yeah.
We didn't have any cards, payments. We weren't allowed to use anything. So that's what we were doing.
Well, let's continue on, because there's a few more tweets in regards to this that may clear up some questions that we have in the chat and people listening. Oh shit! Fuck! I had a
That's when you have 500 gazillion motherfucking tabs open all at once.
That's why I have a nice new robust computer to handle all of my tabs now.
That's crazy.
Between 1st of February 2023 and February 2024, Chelsea paid a Premier League high of 75.1 million to agents. So these are agent fees. We paid 75 million pounds in agent fees, which is absolutely insane. Let's continue. Chelsea's, go ahead.
That makes sense if you think about it, though, because we signed the most players, and agents are going to take a cut of that. They're going to take some sort of fee from the club. So,
of course,
I don't know what people are crying about. There is definitely a context behind that. It's not like we're just paying these guys like regular fees like that. That's from the transfers.
Are people well, you guys have more of a pulse on Twitter than I do, because I like to be mentally sound. What are you guys hearing people bitching about with the finances, that we're in debt or whatever the fuck?
I mean, I'll talk on the hotel thing. That's probably the most that I've heard of, and that's actually, I think the Chelsea fans have been quite fair about how they reacted to the hotel thing. Like, sort of have a laugh at the Arsenal fans, and like, specifically, Rory Talks Football and them guys. They're just crying on Twitter. We found another loophole, but at the same time, this isn't a sustainable practice to balance the books, because we're eventually, if we carry on doing this, we're eventually going to run out of assets where we can actually do that and make money off it. So that's been quite fair. But in terms of the agent fees, I mean, I think that's just people complaining for no real reason, not really giving a reason. It's just like more of a thing to pile on Bowley. Oh, we're paying these useless. We're paying the agents of these useless players. That's what they're saying. But that's just all rooted in an agenda, as we all know. But hey.
Yeah, that sounds very rooted in an agenda. It's just like, damn if you do. With the ownership, we always got to point out they're American, right? With the American ownership, it's really damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Man.
Yeah,
Get them out of my
exactly.
fucking country, man.
Yeah,
He's American.
Jesus.
No more Strasbourg Steve here, man. Get Strasbourg out of here. Get Marshall out of here, too, man. Get him out of here, man.
Backstage then, yeah? We'll go backstage.
Yeah, get backstage,
Steve's gone. Are you guys stop being triggered
man.
now? The American's gone.
I'm triggered by you, man. More.
Yeah, you're
Alright,
American.
well, in that
man.
case,
Man.
well,
Get out of here, man.
Brexit FC.
Brexit means Brexit.
Come on, lads. Oh, come on, man. We did
it, man.
We've got our Chelsea back. We've got.
We've got Chelsea back is wild. All right, let's continue reading this. Chelsea's 404 million pounds in wages in the latest acquisition accounts is believed to include payoffs for sacking managers Thomas Tuchel and Graham Potter last season. That makes sense as well. I didn't think about that.
Of course it does. Compensation.
Yeah. Exactly. Despite the salary costs and heavy losses of £89.9 million, Chelsea chairman Todd Bowley said he expects the club to comply with the Premier League's financial rules in the foreseeable future. Going on, what does this say? All right, here we go. Chelsea's homegrown stars will not be rushed into finding a new club if the Blues need to sell them to raise quick cash this summer. Gallagher, Chalobah, Maatsen, Broja could all be sold to ensure and avoid the threat of financial breaches. Yeah, that's really everything that's said there. And then continuing on, Chelsea reportedly need to raise $100 million in player sales by June 30th, so the sales can be included in their financial accounts for 2023-2024. Continuing on, Trevor Chalobah will target a move to top English or European club. Armando Broja will similarly aim high for next move. He will not join Fulham permanently at the end of his loan. And we have Conor Gallagher is believed to be valued at 45 to 50 million pounds by Chelsea. Little progress has been made in talks over a new deal. And we have apparently Nicholas Jackson as well. Nicholas Jackson is valued at 97 million euros. He was valued at 44 million euros when we acquired him. Which, Steve, I know your face, but that's football.
And I rate Jackson, but if you sold him right now, I highly doubt you would get 97 million euros. That's the only. If it went up
definitely getting more.
20, by 20, by 20, I could see that. By 44, that's a bit. But then again, here's the other thing too.
Yeah, football world is crazy with the finances.
They can say that his value has increased in the last 6 months by that, but at the end of the day, if nobody's willing to pay that price, and they're only willing to, maybe they agree with my evaluation of. Like I would pay, like if let's say I wanted him at Newcastle, I would pay up to 65 for Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you get rid of? Who would you get rid of, Len?
Wilson.
Wilson.
Makes sense.
Wilson.
Yeah, he's not.
But
But
like,
not reliable.
Good combat.
At the end of the day, a player's services or a item or whatever the hell, right? It's only worth as much as someone is willing to pay. That's what it is. So I don't know if you can prove that it's gone up by 44 million, but like.
But the thing is, though, like I think I could see it being real because you look at Gyökeres. and Boniface and and Hoyland, for example, even. I don't think they were putting up any crazy numbers, but because of their hype and the lack of like definitive strikers in the market, their prices are inflated. I feel like it makes sense in that sense.
The law of supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
The perceived supply of Sky Sports strikers versus Strasbourg Steve Scout strikers, right? In terms of, I don't know how else. I don't know fucking how else to put it because I watch.
That's fair. That's fair.
Football, and there are strikers out there that Vangelis Pavlidis and Azad Alkmaar has 27 fucking goals in the Eredivisie. He's 25. You could get him for 35 million. Maybe that's better value for money than Hoyland wasn't ready yet to leave Atalanta. He didn't establish himself there. You know what I'm saying?
The problem.
No, it's a perceived it's a supply and demand thing.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what it is? I think another
agree.
thing that supply and demand is true, but I also think the other issue is also potential. Like, how do you value potential? Because, for example, easy example I would use again NBA. With these guys, it's about how many first round picks like am I going to give to our opposing team for this player that I want to get if he's like this stuff, for example, right? How much of my future can I bank on him for? Is how much I'm going to give away. It's the same with like Hoyland. The reason why he was bought for so much is because they believed that his potential was valued at 80 million. That's what he was right now. So,
and that's the thing. And it again, like I said about Enzo Fernandez last stream that I was on about, like, I don't think he was ready yet to leave for Benfica. And that it screws over the player in terms of PR and expectation and all this yada yada yada, because you bought him for so much money, but he wasn't worth that. The reason why you got it is because you wanted him, and he was only 6 months into his Benfica deal, and he was Benfica's most important player. Maybe not best, technically best, or whatever. The most important, because I see Benfica before, with, and after Enzo Fernandez. If I was fucking Rui Costa, if I saw that, I'd be like, God damn, I shouldn't have done that, because then I wasted a lot of money on a lot of bum-ass players, and we haven't replaced replace Enzo Fernandez since. So it's one of those where it's like Hoyland is going to Man United and he's got this big ass price tag, but like he's not that guy yet, and you paid it for him. So that's the other.
I think that the issue that you've got now, boys, and I'll say it like this, is that if you want to buy ready-made players, it's quite hard to buy them now, bro. Because
their prices are ridiculous.
The prices, even for them, are extremely ridiculous now. So essentially, that's another problem they've got.
Honestly, hold on, Ahmed. Let's speak on that, because people want to bash on Chelsea for not acquiring all these ready-made and experienced players. But no one wants to talk about how Real Madrid waits till these players are free agents to get them. Let's talk about Mbappe. He's Real Madrid could have acquired and wanted to acquire Mbappe for seasons now, for 3 seasons in a row now. The rumors have always been there, and it was always. Wait, did they try Oliver?
Yes, they did. Do you not remember they did like a 200 and something million bid on deadline day? And
they were looking at him when he was at Monaco.
Yeah. The thing with me, so I want to rewind.
But now, ever since he's been at PSG, though, before you go, Ahmed, ever since he's been at PSG, they've been waiting until he was a free agent to acquire him. And I mean, it's gonna happen now.
I think the issue again, whenever all of us here talk about Chelsea and experience and everything like that, and I hear about it. I hear guys like Paulinho, for example. I've heard Paulinho before. Top player, good player, great. But the problem is, boys, he's got yes, he may cost you 6-7 million, but he's 29, almost turning 30. How many more good years can we honestly listen? I know football's got to move places, but by the time maybe he's 33, 34, you know what I'm saying to you? Then what? That for me is where the worry begins for me, because we can always say if we keep on doing this short termism, and I've said this within football, short termism is a big killer, because we were doing that at Chelsea for so long. Because we had a spine, because we fixed that spine, and we had it for 10 years, it allowed us to do short-term things until 2012 when we had to do a new generation, and we weren't able to build our spine 100%. I would argue, even in that period. So again, for me, you look at it now. people will say to me, Liao was really inexperienced. But we know how much Liao is going to cost us. 130, 140, 150 million. Are we willing to do that for that player? You know what I mean? If we're only able to buy him, but not able to address all of the other issues in our team, then what's the point of just buying Liao then?
And that's kind of where I go back to like the whole point of like, damn if you do, damn if you don't with this ownership. I mean, I feel like it's not even this ownership. I feel like under Roman, it was the same exact fucking thing too. It really was damn if you do, damn if you don't with Roman, I think too. Because like I feel like people were really upset that we weren't making a move for a striker, and you had a certain portion of the fan base that were incredibly upset that and at the time, obviously, just give context, we had no striker, we just won the Champions League. Romelu Lukaku had an amazing season at Inter. Everyone wanted Erling Haaland, and people were upset that we got Erling Haaland.
You know what?
And it split the fan base because they were also, some of them were happy that we got Lukaku. It was really damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Marshall, the issue is here with a lot of these guys, and I'll say, and I will always repeat this again, is that when people were trying to say, let's get Haaland, he was worth, at that moment in time, 150 million.
Because the release clause wasn't available at the time.
It was the season after. That's how he was got. And at the time,
and again, Ahmed, I'm sorry I keep interrupting you, but you keep reminding me, like we point out these things that we're just talking about, how we don't go for these tried and tested players and buy out their contracts. Again, Man City waited until they could activate the release clause on Haaland to get him for significantly cheaper.
And I think for me, fundamentally, yes, one of the reasons why people are pissed at the Camavinga loss, because he was young and you could have got him at cheap price a year beforehand, right? Those are the type of stuff that I feel like, if you're Chelsea, if you're trying to, be a top team, that's what you should be doing. Getting them when they're just about to reach the peak of their powers or about to start reaching that level. That's what you're meant to be doing for me at Chelsea right now. You're not going to be able to get every single player that you want. Yes, I might want Bernardo Silva, but if it's going to cost me 80, 90, 100 million, then what's going to happen to my rest of my budget? I may want, I may want, for example, let's say, give me a defender. Let's say I want Konate. How much is Konate, do you think, going to be worth right now? 100 million, I would argue.
Over 100 million, easily.
Right? He'd probably
Isak.
Even
Isak, yeah. Isak. How many? Actually, Steve, I meant to ask you that. How many years are left on Isak's contract?
I can look it up right now. I'm assuming.
And then, how much do you remember? How much you bought him for?
70.
Jesus Christ!
I'll look it. I'll look it up. I'll look it up on.
The reason why they were able to buy Isak, by the way, for that price was because he had a down season, which was really lucky for Newcastle because they were able to basically snap him up hella quickly while everyone else was asleep.
And while we're discussing the financial stuff too, it's not like Newcastle. You have to sell a player, I believe. I think you guys are in a bit of a pickle too, where you have to meet FFP rules or
You know what it is? It depends on a few things. It depends.
Because I heard rumblings that you have to sell either you have to sell either Wilson or Isak.
Well, Wilson is 33, so we won't even we'll get pennies on the dollar for him. But like we have an Adidas deal coming, and it's a big one. It's a big one. Also, keep in mind the Saudi Arabia connection. Salah on the front of our shirts. If you watch UFC, F1, they market the hell out of Salah and all those other little thingies. So, like, financially, I don't know if we have to sell one of our big hitters this summer. I don't know that. I'm not saying to people we have to or that we don't have to. The summer will show, ultimately. But I do, that Adidas deal is fat, bro. It's fat. We bought Isak for 70 mil from Real Sociedad. How many years he has on his contract left? It is over in 2028.
Oh, wow. So he's got 3 years pretty much if you want to discount the rest of the season. So if you were to sell him over the summer, easily that player is going to be 150.
Yeah, I was just saying 100. But yeah, we can play that. Yeah.
I think realistically it's going to be 120, but I feel like Newcastle would ask 150 for him.
We would milk it, of course, because we're trying to be a legit club, just like if Villa are trying to legitimize, and they have the third richest owners in the league. The top three richest owners in the league are Newcastle, Man City, Villa. If you actually look
Yeah,
at it,
yeah.
and Villa again, they're getting the Adidas deal as well. So and yeah, they're very wealthy. So yeah, if you want to get Watkins, they could demand 100 million pounds. They could.
Yeah. So I mean that goes back to what we're talking about right now with the amount players are worth and when we buy these players and the potential and all that stuff. So Nicholas Jackson for almost 100 million euros, let's say 90 million pounds. I could see that. I could
I'll take 80 million pounds.
if a bidder were to come in for Jackson, I could see Chelsea being 100 million pounds. Just to start off high and then negotiate their way to 80 or 70.
I'll be honest on that one. That's because we're stubborn and we're a bit out of our depth on some of these things. Like we wanted 50 million pounds or euros, whatever it was, for Armando Broja, and he can't even buy a star at Fulham. Well, like when it comes to those like valuations, I don't really rate those valuations. Like those are done by like computer algorithms, statistical algorithms. I saw one of those in 2020 say that Marcus Rashford is the most valuable player in the world above Mbappe. So I take it with a pinch of salt on most occasions.
Fair enough.
You know why why you could maybe say that is because of the marketing, advertising.
Yeah, that is true.
Jersey
That is true.
sales that would generate.
Look at Mason Mount. Mason Mount. I mean, he got the number 7 for a reason.
He's an England international that's at a big club, and then at the World Cup, he's on your TV. Most chances, like so that's part of it. But like as a footballer, Rashford is not the it's crazy.
But the problem is is that with certain players, because they're like a figure bigger than the actual sport itself, that just automatically enters into the transfer value, whether you want to admit or not.
Well, let me continue on with these tweets because I knew this was going to be a long segment because there's so much to talk about. So we have an image here that says how often have Chelsea's £1 billion recruitments been on the pitch? Percentage of available minutes played in all competitions, and there's 4 categories. Now, the tweet itself says a whopping £303.9 million, or 31% of total Bowley Clear Lake transfer spend in the first 3 windows of their ownership has barely been seen on the pitch for Chelsea at all. So all the red, 25% or less, is the amount of the players that we've seen that we spent on. We haven't seen that we spent on. So we spent £303 million on players that have not been seen on the pitch. That includes your David Washingtons. That includes your Dijon Whispers. That includes, Santos. Andre Santos. Angelo Gabriel. Moreira.
Kunku, Labia.
Bashir Humphreys. I don't think we.
No. Bashir Humphreys is academy.
He's academy. He's academy. You're right. Gabi
So Kunku,
Solina.
Labia.
Lavia. Yeah, you could say Lavia.
And Kunku.
Yeah. And Kunku as well. So that's a big percentage of players that we spend money on that have not seen the pitch. Let's go on to the next tweet that I have here. Only 4 players have been on the pitch for more than 75% of Chelsea's available first team minutes since arriving. And that's Enzo, Caicedo, Disasi, and Palmer. Sheesh. Only 4 players have been on the pitch for more than 75% of Chelsea's available first team minutes. Okay. So, oh my God, those players cost £284 million combined. Wow. Okay, that's a big eye opener. And then this is the last tweet I have on this segment. The 10 most expensive Bowley/Clear Lake signings, and you see the category in which they fall. Oh my God. Okay. Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo are in the top, and they actually percentage of available minutes played. They've played 83% of the available minutes. You see Caicedo, who's played 85%. Wesley Fofana at 20.3. So since we've signed Wesley Fofana, of all the minutes that have been played for Chelsea, he's only played 20% of them. So since this signing,
feels like less.
That's half a season. Half a season out of the last 2 seasons. We've had Wesley Fofana play. Mikhailo Mudryk has only played 39% of minutes. Cucurella 38%, Christopher Nkunku 11.4%, Romeo Lavia 0.9%. It's crazy. Raheem Sterling has been here for 62.6%. He was injured last season, I recall that. And he's just been in and out of the club. So wow, oh my God. So out of our top 10 signings, there's a solid half of them that have not played anywhere near enough to validate their price.
Only 4 of them have.
Only 4 of them. Yeah. That's actually crazy. I didn't actually look at. Like I said, guys, I get the news as I'm telling it to you guys, and this is insane to see. Actually,
It's down to blind injury-prone players though. We brought Lavia. Okay, I don't know if he's actually injury-prone before this, but like I think he picked up.
No, he's not.
No, yeah.
no, he wasn't.
Got that big injury like after Camavinga basically.
And Kunku's debatable.
Yeah, no, he just got that big injury since Camavinga. You remember that France training one? Like,
It's stuff here and there. But
I mean, it's never gone well since then. And Fofana. Let's not speak about Fofana and his boots, shall we? But yeah, like this.
I got you.
Yeah.
The Fofana one is crazy.
Like,
I'm not
there's
gonna lie.
reasons why Sterling
And
isn't
include
obviously
one.
is in the yellow because he's just shit now. Like,
You can hold that, Marshall. You can hold that, you fraud, man. You fucking fraud, man.
but yeah, like some of it's down to manager, some of it's just down to injuries, and yeah, like I think it's like stuff like that. Like obviously, Disasi's played the most. Damn.
Yeah. Disasi's been here for just about every game
No
minus
one, he's
like
picked up
one.
an injury, right?
Guys, I've got a stat for you. I was looking at this because obviously Enzo and Disasi are both going to miss the game on Monday. So I had a little look at Disasi's games played. I think since we played Brighton in the Premier League when we won 3-2, that was in early December. Since then, he has completed 90 minutes in every single game except one. And that includes games where he's played at right back, so he's had to be running up and down the pitch trying to overlap, despite the fact he can't do it, but Poch still asks him to do it. He's played 90 minutes in all but one game since early December, and people wonder why he's now gone down.
It's crazy, man. I'm
Be
hoping
fair.
next. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go on. No, finish up.
No, go, Steve. You're
Oh,
gonna say.
yeah. To be fair, if you want to compare with Newcastle, yeah, like Tonali, that's a bad one. That was a bad one. Like 70 mil, and he's played probably very very low percentage, probably like 2% of our games. Barnes injured a lot of it. Livramento, he's gotten up there. Lewis Hall has barely played. So like this does happen. It does happen, but like. We got it right the first window PIF came in. Trippier's played a lot of the minutes available. Dan Burns played a lot of the minutes available. Isak, the injuries have been a problem, but at the same time, his like goals per minute is like 1 every 100 minutes or something. It's crazy. So like, yeah, it is concerning like for you guys to see that a little bit, but at the same time, it's like I don't think it's like. It's still salvageable, because like Tonali could come back next year, play like 90% of the season, Barnes, Isak, Gordon, etc., and it could be just fine. You know what I'm saying? So, it's definitely a concern, but like it's not like the end of the world. The Fofana was the most concerning one at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I want to talk about that because I hope the final one. I hope Chelsea fans like. And that is a worry. Chelsea fans need to absolutely like consider that, but they need to also apply context to everything else. Because what I'm seeing a lot of on Twitter and whatnot, people are looking at the Fofana thing, they're looking at the Nkunku thing, looking at the Lavia thing, and they're saying, "Oh, you know, all the guys in the red and the orange, they're injury prone." Mind you, if you think about it, just add some context. Kukureya is in the orange zone on that tweet. He would probably be in the yellow zone if Poch didn't decide that Levi Colwill was a left back.
Exactly.
There are things like that, whereas you've got to apply context of some of this is the way the manager uses them or the lack thereof use by the manager.
It's like a Lewis Hall and Livramento for us.
Yes, exactly.
They're
not injured. Oh, exactly.
Like right now they're injured, but this is like a recent thing in the past like week. But like like Eddie Howe's chosen to play. His best formation in his eyes is Trippier right back, Dan Burn left back. So that means that the only way Livramento or Lewis Hall can play is if one of them are absent. It's one of them. So yeah, that's a contact. You're right. That's why I said about my transfers this summer. I was like, yeah, it looks bad. At the same time, it's like at Newcastle we've had a similar thing. So it's like,
And again, with
it
the
does happen.
Tonali thing as well, there's context to that. Did you guys have any idea that he was going to get done for
exactly.
gambling? You know, I
don't
highly
think
doubt you
anybody
did.
did. I don't think
No.
anybody did, to be fair.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's just. Yeah, there is a lot of context, and alluding to what Steve said earlier, I'm interested to see now how next season plays out, because if next season plays out like it should, if we fix up on things, if injuries happen less, this looks a little better. Overall, like the numbers improve overall, but like the Lavia thing was such an unforeseen, like no one expected that to happen. You know, that for him to play 35 minutes and now all of a sudden he's been out for the season is insane, when he used to be a relatively fit player. He never used to have an injury issue.
He played over 2,000 minutes last season, I believe.
Yeah.
It was a
In the Premier
lockdown
League.
at Southampton. Lockdown most of
Yeah.
the time. Him and Carlos Alcaraz. Yeah. Lockdown.
I think he
started.
was. I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, in his age bracket and below, he played the most minutes in the Premier League.
Something like that, yeah. I think I heard something like that vaguely.
It was.
Yeah.
He was very, very high up in those numbers for his age and people below that.
But that was actually a really, really lengthy discussion on the finances, and I think we learned a lot of what's going on. If you're watching UFC, by the way, ladies and gents, big up. Also going to be trying to multitask and
that.
keep up.
You
Yeah,
fool.
I
You're always
think
gonna be
the
shit.
Garbrandt
you
get
know you
knocked out. Okay, who knows? But okay.
Hold that.
Is it a free fight or is it a pay?
What happened?
Is it UFC 300 or is it, what is it?
It's UFC 300. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But let's go on to the next segment I wanted to discuss with you guys. And Steve, this is where you get to shine. This is your opportunity, and I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, because I don't know what players you know, and I don't know what players you don't know. But we're gonna see how much Steve knows, because guarantee it's more than all of us, to be honest, on this player. Let's go ahead and talk about the new player on Chelsea's radar, according to Fabrizio Romano, and that is this player right here. Chelsea have sent people to watch 16-year-old River Plate midfielder Franco Mastantuono.
Mastantuono, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't
Are you
actually
familiar
seen
with this guy?
River. I watched Boca last night, but I haven't seen River Plate play yet this season because it's just kicking off in South America. Like the Libertadores.
Yeah, Libertadores in South America is just kicking off. They're in right now. They're in group stages.
Yeah, so I haven't seen him play yet. To be fair, but I think I've heard like one or two things about him. But yeah, I'll keep an eye on him though. And like River.
Fair play.
He's probably
Yes.
he probably
Yeah.
barely played like
What's
that
like
much
a-
for Steve to notice though. He's 16 years
Um,
old.
I just want to say personally, Marshall, you know, I know you're of South American origin. I know you speak fluent Spanish, but yet you can't say that name correctly.
Franco Mastantuono. It's hard, man. It's
You
hard
got
to
it,
say.
boy.
That's
You got
that's
it,
not
boy.
that's not even that can't be South American. Mastantuono. That has to be like
He's Argentinian.
Italian.
European, Italian, something, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
so-
Franco Mastantuono.
There are a lot of Argentinian Italians. A lot of
Yeah.
them.
Exactly. Thanks, Steve. You get
think
it.
it's
While Ahmed's drinking his fucking cup of cum over there, man. I'm just saying.
Hey, yo, whoa!
Hey, yo.
I'm just saying. No, we're not. We are not. We're the furthest thing from PG. What are you talking about?
PG man.
Yo, look at the kids, man. Have
Yeah,
some
listen.
respect for the
It's
kids.
not my fault you filled a cup on stream with some white unidentified fluid.
You're looking like a semen slurper, bruv.
Bro,
Yo,
yo.
he's not wrong.
PG man.
But yeah, I mean, which is why is Fabrizio reporting on who we sent scouts to watch? I don't really know.
It gets
but
interaction.
It does get interaction. People,
That's why.
people are so upset with the whole,
That's why.
this youth
Because
scouting.
It gives Twitter tacticos who watch comps and make comps and all this stuff who don't actually watch the player.
Mhm.
It gives them something to fucking get them excited.
Yeah, and listen, at the same time too,
Sexually excited.
yeah. But at the same
They
time
make
though,
Fabrizio money. That's why they do it.
At the same time, though, I'm not going to get too upset about it because I feel like we haven't really gone. I know people are sick and tired of the youth model. I understand that. But I feel like we haven't done too bad of a job in recruiting young talent that's actually paid off for us. If we look at Nani Madueke, if we look at Nicholas Jackson, like the younger portion, actually all of the people that we require for the most part are very young. They've worked out pretty well for us. So, you know, the only one that I would say is undoubtedly questionable is going to be Mudryk. Mudryk is still up in the air whether or not he's been
And
worth
Fofana.
and Wesley Fofana, yeah.
Who was
and
extremely
Dacia
injured
Fofana.
before you bought him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Dacia Fofana too is up in the air. We'll see how he develops, but he's looking really good at Burnley now. And Union Berlin didn't work out for him. But, you know, time will tell with the youth. But for the most part, it seems like we're recruiting actually well-talented people. But where we failed was the recruitment of a manager that can get the best out of them and form something with them. So that's my take on that. But let's go from here and move on to the next segment, which agenda-driven revisionism. Now, Marshall, what are you talking about exactly? I'm talking about
fucking English class or some shit. Jesus Christ! fucking feminist studies college class. Agenda-driven revisionisms of white power and male influence in modern society. Like, all right, word salad. All right, word.
Maybe Steve can help us with this, because I feel like Steve, he's a neutral. He's not going to have any agendas. He's not going to have a bias towards any players he's seen. But what I've noticed recently is that there's a certain narrative being written about all these ex-Chelsea players, that these ex-Chelsea players, and we'll say right here, Oliver Kay from The Athletic wrote an article on this. It is notable how many recent players who left Chelsea over the past few years are thriving elsewhere. The overall picture invites further question about Chelsea's strategy, both before and particularly since the Bowley Clear Lake takeover. Clear examples of this are Jorginho and Kai Havertz. Other examples of this, we'll say
all the motherfuckers at AC Milan.
Pretty much.
Literally all of them.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Pulisic, which we did talk about. Tamori is also one that happened a while ago, but is being brought up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Giroud also being brought up to this day. The ex-Chelsea players. Who also am missing that gets sucked up in this conversation? Yes, I got you.
On private chat, yeah?
Yeah, I got you. I'll do that. I'll do it right now. But, like, who else can you guys think of that is in this conversation as well in terms of the amount of revisionism?
Maybe Kovacic.
No, I don't hear a lot of that.
No, but you know what I don't hear? You know what I don't hear
because
about?
actually, he's having an underrated season at Man City.
Yeah, but Kovacic is...
He's doing exactly what I expected him to do.
No, but Steve.
Steady squad player in important games.
Steve, Kovacic is he is eternally underrated. No one will ever give him the flowers that he deserves. That's just it happened at Chelsea. It's now happening at City. But as for any other examples, I'd say whenever Hudson-Odoi comes up with the odd goal, the TL explodes over him, man.
Oh, fuck.
Right.
Ahmed, did you want to mention something in there?
Okay. I would say, if you look at all of these players, right, that I mentioned, particularly Jorginho and Havertz, Jorginho is performing similarly to what we were giving him when we had Kante and Kovacic beside them, and when literally the whole system was around him. Remember, people seem to be forgetting that, and he doesn't even play as much for Arsenal. I don't know where this has come from, I would argue. And then Kai Havertz.
Results.
Kai Havertz, for me, by the way, has literally done the same thing that he's done at Chelsea. The difference is he's only got one more extra goal.
Thank you.
And again, Ahmed, results.
Yeah, and you can say results. That's fine. That's fine. Fair enough. But
that's the reason.
Good. This is. I am so happy that you joined when you joined. By the way, Scott, because I feel like this is your wheelhouse. This is your wheelhouse. The Chelsea player revisionism.
I want to So obviously you spoke about those two, but then I feel like the others. I've had Cho revisionism too. Look at how Cho is thriving and Nottingham
He's
Forest.
fucking not thriving. What the fuck?
And I've heard that a lot on Twitter. You hear that, and I'm like, big man, this is the guy that was at one point nicknamed the 1v1 demon. The guy that had one of the most craziest potential of all, like, the way people were talking about from the Chelsea Academy. And we're now hyping him up for scoring four or five goals now in the league. Is that what we're really doing? And then
Exactly.
the thing is, yeah, the thing with Pulisic, I know you will see some people that look, Pulisic scored 10 goals the first time he's ever done it and everything like that, and look how he's looking for AC Milan. But again, the difference is I wouldn't say one league is worse than another. It's just that
No, it's a different way of playing, different style of play.
Some players, they just suit different leagues. That's all it is, bro. And the Italian league suits him. But even in the Italian league, he's having crazy misses. If you actually watch him, yeah, he scored 10 goals.
Yeah, sometimes he does miss. He was terrible against Roma on Thursday.
Bro, there'll be times where there's times where I've looked at him and been like, he shouldn't be on 10, he should be on really 15 or 16 goals in the league in total. Let alone, Europa League, in the Coppa Italia, or anything like that. So, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, again, a guy, who, I'll be honest, was not doing so great at Chelsea, even though he went to right wing back and he had some good performances here and there. Yes, again, the league suits Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Again, I don't know.
He's still getting injured, by the way. He still does deal with.
Yes, and that's what I was going to add. This guy still gets injured consistently. But, again, you won't hear about the fact that he consistently gets injured. You won't hear about the fact Cho consistently doesn't even play regular football at what's it called, Nottingham Forest until recently. You won't hear anything about it at all. But hey,
you know what else people love to leave out? The fact that players sometimes just want to move on.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Pulisic wanted to leave.
He wasn't happy with Tuchel.
Wanted to leave.
Havertz wanted to leave.
Havertz wanted to leave. Mason Mount wanted to leave. So if you want to leave, if you're in a fucking relationship, business partner, whatever the fuck else in life, and someone wants to stop that relationship or whatever, then you probably should. Because they're not going to put in their all.
And here's another part. Here's another part of the revision.
Regardless if they do better elsewhere. Oh, my abusive girlfriend's having an amazing relationship with fucking, I don't know, Steve Harvey. Like, who gives a fuck? If you do.
Hey, man.
Who gives a fuck? Who cares?
Can't compete.
They were not good to you. That relationship that you have with that person is not good. It don't fucking matter what they do after. Find the fucking replacement. That's all.
That's another part of the revisionism, by the way. You talk about players being unhappy. A lot of people are saying we didn't need a rebuild in 2022. I mean, are you kidding me? This squad needed surgery in 2022 when we finished third in the Premier League. But we were all saying it. Something had to change. Tuchel was saying, no, this isn't a change a few players here. This is a rebuild. Everyone was happy with it. But now that we've got it, again, you can criticize the way they've done it, but to do the revisionism and say that we didn't need it in the first place, that's completely disingenuous. And you're probably going back on what you were saying back then yourself.
You know what it is, Oliver? Yeah, I want to add this quickly. Is that all of these guys here, they were there when Tuchel was saying, telling the squad. Remember the famous quote? You know what I mean? You're either with me or you're either against me. Remember that? Yeah. Yes, that's my Tuchel. You know what I mean? And when he was saying we have the same players, you know what I mean? So they're with him then. When and they were cussing at these players, but when they leaving now and they're doing something else at other clubs, now they're like, oh, look at this guys. We need him back. We need him back. See?
And you know what? And you know what it is also? It's basic human instincts to look at, like I said with the girlfriend boyfriend example. It is the easiest thing for humans to do is that when you depart with someone or you part way with something and you go look at that, you are going to have a warped perception over, oh wow, they seem a lot better off or they're worse off. It's psychological.
Well, what it is, it's the whole thing.
The term is confirmation of bias. That's what it is.
Okay, yeah.
Bias. So people who rated Pulisic, people who didn't rate Pulisic, they will look at him at AC Milan right now and either think he's doing better than I expected, or he's fucking he's American Maradona, Messi, R9 motherfucker. If they rated him because it's confirmation bias. Where I could set that aside, because I was skeptical about the AC Milan move, because I'm like, Pulisic's best position for years and years and years and years, club and country is left wing, and Leao plays left wing. And I did not know that he could go to AC Milan, especially with Pioli, who I don't rate, and play right wing and play very, very well. He's been one of Milan's best players this season. I did not see that coming at all. So it's one of those. It's confirmation of bias.
It's not just that as well. It's also the whole thing, I need what I don't have. When Enzo just got finished up with the World Cup, everyone wanted Enzo. Now he's here. We don't need him. And that goes for so many other players. Now that Pulisic's not here, and not just to use Pulisic, but Loftus-Cheek, like you say, Kovacic, we now need them because they're not here.
Another man's trash is another man's treasure. It's another case of that. That's what Havertz says. Even if you agreed, I don't think it's a case of that. You could make a case for it that like he's important to Arsenal, how the way they play. Bro, he's trash for you.
And here's the thing.
It was always going to be trash.
But here's the thing. Like someone brought up Kovacic, right? Like Oliver, yes, I understand no one's been talking about Kovacic, but I remember specifically here at Chelsea when Kovacic had a similar season last season, for example, to what he's having this season, where he's not really been available for Man City up until recently, and then recently you've seen he's made an impact and stuff. I don't hear the same conversation revolving Kovacic like we heard last season. Oh, this guy's not good. He doesn't get any GNA. He doesn't do enough in the attack. All this and that. I feel like, and this is the part that frustrates me, and I've learned to let it go, but from time to time, I feel like making content and having a discussion about it like we are right now. But like... Yeah. I've learned to let it go that the Twitter tacticos are never going to look at the game, what you see on the pitch, and are never going to look at the game outside of GNA. Because with a lot of these highly priced players, and even this is the part that baffles me too about the Jackson and Højlund comparisons, that people are admiring Højlund even though they're just about have the same amount output, but no one wants to mention that Jackson cost us half the price. So it's that also baffles me. But going back to what I was saying about Kovacic before I go on another tangent, is no one wants to mention that Kovacic is having pretty much a similar season to last season with Chelsea at Man City now this season. But yet last season it was a problem because he wasn't contributing enough. When over at Man City, I feel like he's appreciated. And we're seeing with Jorginho. I said it, and Oliver, you remember me pointing this out. Maybe the rest of you didn't hear it, but I remember specifically saying at the end of the January transfer window that, watch, Enzo Fernandez is going to be the next Jorginho when it comes to the agenda for this fan base. And we are seeing it clear as day right now. People saying and slandering Enzo Fernandez so much, not even just rivals, but our own fan base, saying, oh, this guy doesn't do enough for us. He doesn't step up. Oh, what is the point of this player? He's trash. He doesn't do anything. He's not worth the price, which I'll admit, we overpaid for him. I understand that. But if you look at football outside of GNA, you see the creativity that he brings to the team. You see the progressive passing. Jorginho, I admired Jorginho for the player that he was. Very good for possession-based football. He was so good at keeping possession. He was so good at retaining possession. People didn't see it often, but he was good at tackling and being defensive as well. You could see him win the ball over and turn the ball over. Yes, he didn't have that much progressive passing, but you at least maintained possession and he played the safe passes often, which Tuchel instructed him to do a lot. Now he's doing the same thing at Arsenal and he's being praised. Oh, look at this accusation that Arsenal got. Thank you, Chelsea, for giving us Jorginho. Even the Arsenal fans can recognize it.
I remember one of his early games for Arsenal. I think it was the game where they beat Villa 4-2. And he basically had that shot that hit the crossbar and it came off Martinez back into the goal. They were comparing him to Scholes after that game. They were comparing him to Paul. And listen, he's a great player. I'm not here to make that comparison, but there was none of this at Chelsea, and he's doing the exact same things.
Yep, none of it at all. So it's just like I've learned to accept that the Twitter tacticals are mentally ill.
I'll tell you what though. What I will say with Kovacic though, I think he gets appreciated at City because he has gone into a club with a good setup where he is being asked the right amount of things are being asked of him, At Chelsea, where we have N'Golo Kante that can't stay fit and Conor Gallagher that's not good enough, we had to rely on Kovacic as a starting midfielder, and he did not have the fitness to do that. And that's why I think it's a bit more appropriate now that he's at City, because he isn't relied on in that way, and therefore you get the best out of him. Your season isn't going to hinge on his fitness.
But he's a great piece to have in this stretch.
Yeah, a great piece. Exactly. He's not a bad player. I never said he's a bad player.
He's a really good piece to have. I listened to this NFL podcast the other day. They're talking about trucks versus trailers. Trucks are your Foden. They can drag a team through. Trailers, Mateus Nunes, Rico Lewis, like they're not the main protagonists. They're not the main characters. Kovacic is a brilliant trailer. If for that Man City team. I think Jackson is a brilliant trailer at the moment. I don't know if he's a truck. You know what I'm saying? It's that Isak's a truck. Isak can win games for Newcastle for us. So like it's Tonali was supposed to be a truck. The three midfielders are all supposed to be them guys. So it's one of those where it's like, and I think that's been probably the one flaw in maybe the transfer strategy possibly. Maybe Chelsea viewed them, not in my exact words of truck versus trailer, but they thought these are going to be the main guys, the superstars, the whatever. But in reality, either they weren't ready in Enzo's case, they're a bunch of trailers. You need trucks. And you can't have too many trucks, Galacticos, Real Madrid, for example, because then it just don't work. You need the balance. It all comes back to balance.
If I may,
Go ahead, Ahmed.
I want to ask a question. So who was getting confirmed as goal? Sorry, I just wanted to.
Jorginho. After that Villa 4-2 goal.
But like, I feel like, you know what it all is, sadly. The moment you start wearing the CFC badge, bro, it feels like, you just people that just want to downgrade you, bro. I don't know what it is, bro. Honestly, the moment like you wear our badge, people just want to, say you're just nothing but rubbish. And I think part of it also,
It's so weird.
And
I'd say like there's like I think it happens at all the top 6 clubs, but yeah, there is a weird one around Chelsea, and there is a weird one around.
I'll be real. I don't think it has anything to do with it. I think it just comes down to a lack of common sense, and a lack of understanding. Because like that's the thing
There's
to
a
me.
lot of mentally ill people out there, Scott.
I think that's just the whole thing with me with like all of these players, where it's like you look at Kovacic. The reason why he's not getting criticised the same way is because at Chelsea he was expected to get GNA by some idiots in the fan base because our attack stank. So
people thought he was a truck, but he's a trailer, a really good trailer.
It's not even that. It's like our attack stunk and they weren't doing their job, and so people were looking at the likes of KDB and they remembered Lampard and thought, oh, every midfielder we have has to do this because our attack isn't doing this. Dickhead. That means the attack isn't good enough. Because look at Kovacic now. Kovacic is, as we said, is doing the same stuff. Like he's doing the same things, but he's in a system where they have the top goal scorer in the league, and even if he doesn't score, they've got guys like Foden, guys like De Bruyne, guys like Grealish who can still supply the team. Like that, and that's the thing. And it's the same with Jorginho. I hope people are understanding now, by the way, with Jorginho, that the system we played under Tuchel was not for his benefit. It was for the guy behind him's benefit. Because this guy is playing in a 4-3-3, same as he did under Sarri. He's playing in a system where he has to play in a midfield 2 at times, because that's the way Arteta plays with the 3-2-5 in attack. But he's playing next to a guy as well who can cover space just as well as Kante could. In fact, probably not as well as Kante could, just because he's a larger dude in Rice. And it works because guess what? The system around him and the guys he's with, he can play quicker. He can play more progressive passing. He can play forward because even if the ball gets lost, he hasn't got a 38-year-old behind him. He hasn't got guys who are slow. He hasn't got guys in the attack who are going to lose the ball instantly. He's doing the same shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's annoying because he was one of the first dudes people wanted to get out the door, and now he's one of the people we should have kept. We should have kept him anyway. I'll be so honest. He's one of, under the right circumstances, because like this whole thing about our former players, we needed to get rid of most of them. Under the right circumstances, there are only 3 I would have kept. And again, this is under the right circumstances. Because as you'll probably be able to tell if and when I name them, 2 of them would not have been good under these circumstances under right now. So it would have to be the right circumstances.
So are you going to name the players?
Hey, what are your 3?
Yeah, what are your 3?
Jorginho, Loftus-Cheek and Kante are the only three I would have kept, and the last two is under the right circumstances. Because under this manager,
I agree.
they would.
Loftus-Cheek, let me guess. Loftus-Cheek attacking midfield instead
No.
of Gallagher? No.
Well, it's Loftus-Cheek just an option in midfield because he could have been
an
in the
option.
pivot and he could have played the 10.
I'm sorry,
And-
and now I moved on from that.
No, Loftus-Cheek would have been decent because he would have been he would have brought experience into the midfield. He would have brought height, which this manager loves, and it means we wouldn't have had to go
diverse and
through-
unique skill set for his
Yeah,
physique.
and it means we would be less reliant on guys like Casadei. He could have had the whole loan the whole season. We would have been less reliant on other guys. And the thing is, for me as well with Loftus-Cheek, is like he's a guy who you can plug in multiple different options.
A utility option.
Yeah, and having guys like those are good in clubs. You don't need to have too many because then you have too many people that like don't really have a position or like are just utility players. Having a few, but again, there's one glaring issue with him and Kante, and that's that with this manager they would have played. Never would have played. They'd have been injured the entire time.
Ever.
But that's
And
kind of what I.
Even with them, like as I said, like those are the only three I'm keeping. I'm not keeping anyone else because they either wanted to leave or just weren't good enough here. I don't care what they do elsewhere. Good for them.
And you know, I'm glad you brought up Loftus-Cheek, and I don't think Ahmed is of this ilk. I think Ahmed just didn't want to keep him for other reasons. But there was a lot of real quick before I let you go and explain yourself. I feel like there was a lot of Chelsea fans that didn't want to keep Ruben Loftus-Cheek simply because of GA. Simply because, yes, I understand last season Ruben got himself into some very, very savory positions in the box, but because he wasn't clinical or able to put him away, the heavy scrutiny was placed on him. And I understand that. But the fact that he was able to give us options to dribble into the box and give us opportunity and creativity, he did have his usefulness. So, Ahmed, what were you going to say about Ruben?
The reason why I didn't want to keep Ruben Loftus-Cheek was, I'm sorry, man. He was not good for us, man. In that last season in particular.
I don't think he was great or anything, but he was useful.
I don't know. I felt, for me personally, I didn't even see if he had like a viable use for us in his current form at Chelsea.
I disagree,
bro. You forget that we last season. Do you not remember the way I used to cook this guy week in, week out that he used to play for us? It seems people have forgotten, but he's one of the ones that I used to call the undesirables. You remember?
I feel like a lot of his criticism came from the failed chances that he would be failed to
And
score.
here's for me, because I've been a Loftus-Cheek fanatic. I don't say that about many players because I when he first broke out at Chelsea and I was seeing this tall motherfucker. He looks like an NFL running back. He can pass, shoot. He's agile. It's like this guy is good at everything. It looks like he genuinely is good at everything.
Yeah.
6, 8, 10. Ever since that fucking friendly before the Europa League final, that's why Ahmed doesn't rate him last season, because he has that OG boss of just bro. He
set a bar too high for himself. Essentially, is what you're saying.
No, because without the injuries, he would have become a top player. I'm convinced because he was good at everything.
Exactly,
he was good at everything. I swear to God, every time I watch you guys, I swear to God, he's fucking good at everything. But the injuries has taken some of that away from him, and that's that's maybe why Ahmed thinks that. Am I wrong, Ahmed?
Yeah, for me, the thing, it's not even that. I just feel like, I understood post-injury, he's not going to be the same guy. But like, there are times where I just look at it and understand, like, you've got such a good body frame. You know what I mean? You can be a bit more physical in the midfield. And then there'll be times where you just get bullied. Like guys that are smaller than him are bullying him off the ball. Or like, there'll be times where he'll be dribbling. I'm just like, stop now. Like, he'll be over dribbled, if that makes sense. So I'm like, rather than put an extra dribble there, just pass it there. I don't even need to shoot. Just pass it, man. And he wouldn't even do that.
You know there's at AC Milan also. Like, there have been Ahmed's right. There have been some poor games. Like Pioli, this stupid motherfucker, plays him next to Benacer. He plays him next to Ismail Benacer, who's been in really, really bad form since he came back from AFCON. He don't look like the same player. He's extremely good at one. But like, that midfield partnership doesn't work. Like him and Reinders, it's been a really decent season from Loftus-Cheek. I'm surprised he's staying fitter longer, which is good because, again, I'm a fan of the guy. I'm a big fan of the guy. A hell of a player. But yeah, like, going back to like the whole like kind of basis, the agenda-driven feminist discussion.
Yeah.
It is a case of, and especially because if you watch one Milan game and he scores a brace against Lecce, you're like, oh my god, confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Bias. We should have never let Loftus-Cheek go. I watched one Milan game on a Monday because there's nothing else on. He scores a brace, and he's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
So,
and bringing it back to what Scott mentioned, and maybe we'll end it on this, is that I feel like, and then fans aren't wrong to do this. You're always going to have like a standard, right? I feel like when it comes to, for example, the midfield, right? Our best midfielder ever was Frank Lampard. That everyone, for the most part, agrees that Frank Lampard is the highest echelon you can achieve when it comes to
second is like
midfielder.
Balak
Maybe even at that, but I feel like they don't even put a scratch onto what Lampard did.
Well, wait, Chelsea, yes, okay, yeah.
For Chelsea, I'm just talking about Chelsea, right?
Yeah.
Right.
When it comes to Chelsea, like Lampard set such a high bar for what a midfielder could do, and I feel like with the fan base, they look at that bar, and anyone who doesn't achieve that level is shit and not good enough. I feel like this is more prominent when you look at more recent, like post-pandemic football and Twitter tacticals coming, and social media playing a bigger part in football. But I feel like a lot of it is that. And so when you have a Jorginho who isn't doing what Lampard used to do at the midfielder, or Kovacic who isn't doing what Lampard used to do, it's like, oh, they're not good enough, all this and that. When the reality of it is, like, all of us here in the panel, we see it this way. It's like, no, Lampard is a fucking hybrid of a type of midfielder.
He's an alien.
He's an alien. There's a reason he is a legend, and when it comes to our midfielders, he's the reason. Like, he's the only one that falls into that legendary bracket when it comes to Chelsea midfielders.
You probably ain't gonna get there. Yeah.
Well, who else is a legend in Chelsea midfield?
Makalele is.
Oh, okay, yeah, Makalele. And Makalele, another one too, that like it's really hard to reach the levels of. Like, I think the only one that ever came close is N'Golo Kante. Yeah, exactly. Kante as well. And again, N'Golo Kante, that's a bar that's really hard to hit.
Kante, he reached that for me.
Yeah. No, I won't argue that. But there's a reason why. What I'm trying to say is there's a reason. There's only out of since Roman took over, right? There's a reason why in all those years, the 20 years of Chelsea football that we've seen, there's only a reason why there's only 3 legends in that category of center midfields that reach that echelon, because there's such alien-like. They're hard to reach that echelon of players. So not everyone could be a legend at the club. I'm sorry to say. So just because they're not a legend doesn't mean they're shit. That means they're good in their own right, in their own system, and all this.
The other issue is, Marshall, like, the guys that we also had, like, we had Matic, who had a good season or two.
Very good, right? Midfielders. Mata as well, very good.
Mata one season was ridiculous.
Yeah, Mata had like back-to-back amazing seasons for us.
Yeah. And Balak as well. There's a lot of good names to throw in there.
But the thing is, Fabregas, but like a lot of these guys we're speaking of, like maybe Byron Fabregas, right?
Yeah.
Fabregas, Byron Mata, I say. Fabregas was like more of a system. The guy was
Aston's up there as well.
Yeah,
of course.
He's not a legend, though. I wouldn't say he's a legend.
Wait. I'm about to he's a legend in my opinion. But the reason why I'm about to bring up Essien is because one of the reasons why people may look up to Essien scoring. When Essien was playing for us, he scored some crazy worldies as well. Like, he scored crazy worldie. Like, he would.
Kovacic has had some crazy worldies too, but exactly, they're not spoken about on the same level.
That's something to see, and like I think a big problem, was post Fabregas when he left, is that we were expecting the club to bring in a midfielder that's going to be like essentially a creator for us. That's what they. That's what a lot of these guys were thinking. Oh, we got
put that on Jorginho.
Yeah.
But remember when Jorginho wasn't doing that, according to them, and was only just passing sideways. And when Kovacic came in, because Kovacic came in after Jorginho from Roger, they're like, oh yes, Kovacic is going to be the guy that's going to be helping us to create these chances. That's what they thought, bro.
Kovacic came in before. Did
he come in before? No, he came in after.
Same season, same window.
Was it the same season? Okay.
Because you had the loan first and then the permanent in 2019.
All right, fair enough. So at the end of the day, they thought because Jorginho wasn't going to do it, then they thought maybe it was going to be Kovacic. That's all it was, bro. And I just think at the end of the day, it's just about these guys not understanding and profiling players correctly. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But they come, and guess what?
Yeah.
They come from other leagues, and so they only see the highlight reels, or maybe a game in the World Cup, or maybe a Champions League, or maybe a yada yada yada. And again, it confirmation bias. I have an idea in my head. I'm gonna attach it to this player based off of comp, and it has to happen. And if it doesn't happen, then it goes against my confirmation bias, and that pisses people off to be wrong as well. So that's the other thing.
Yeah, and for sure.
Psychological, man. All of this shit is psychological.
And I think, like I was alluding to before, I think social media definitely,
warps
a lot of people's perception of how players should play and how they can be good in their own right. Like Jorginho, for what he does to a team, I think he's really, really good. I think he's world class when it comes to possession-based football. But that's not what is on everyone's highlight reel. That's not what's on the comps. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think it's like what Ahmed said, the misprofiling. Because they're not Frank Lampard and they're not doing what Frank Lampard did, they're shit. Yeah. They're not even coming close to that. They're shit.
I think it's nostalgia too as well a little bit.
Yeah, I think a lot is nostalgia too. Yeah,
why
another psychological element, nostalgia.
Why didn't they do this for Estienne? Because, if Estienne today, playing for Chelsea, so where's his goals and stuff like that? He wasn't scoring those goals for Chelsea.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He'd score a couple bangers and stuff like that. Actually, I never seen some bangers, but he wouldn't score outright. Enzo this season probably scored. What, 6, 7? And that's a lot of times more than Estienne did for Chelsea. I'm pretty sure. He did for Chelsea per season. Anyway, per season, by the way, because Estienne's been at Chelsea for a good while.
But even, and again, we could end it on this. I feel like if we swap Enzo right now for Modric, not to say they're the same player, but if we brought in Modric, right? Guarantee you this Chelsea fan base would have been like, what does Modric do? He's not good enough. He's not this and that. People don't realize that Modric, what he's doing at Real Madrid, he's not a Frank Lampard. He is a creative genius and doing such work in the midfield. And again, it's like we're not doing the reasonable comparisons when it comes to an analysis when it comes to these players. So the revisionism on Havertz right now. He's being rebuilt at Arsenal. It's ridiculous because Ahmed said it earlier. He's having the same season he had 2 seasons ago at Chelsea. Very similar. Maybe he's doing a little bit better at Arsenal. But again, Arsenal, you guys paid what, 60 million for this player? Again, is that really worth the price tag? No one's mentioning the price on Havertz now. Yet he's been reinvented.
Worth the price tag maybe if it's a UCL and Prem double. And then, oh my God, I pray for you motherfuckers if Arsenal do something crazy like that. I'm not saying they will, but I'm just saying if Arsenal win one of those 2 big honors, some of your fucking fans are going to bro, especially Arsenal, because it's Arsenal. I think that's a part of it all. Again, this is psychological stuff. You have to, if you're in the mix and you're in that, you don't see it. You don't see it from that psychological perspective. That it's so easy to fall into it. Yeah.
I'll tell you what else people are forgetting about when it comes to Havertz. They're forgetting about, Chelsea misprofiled him. He's playing at striker now, and he's getting all these goals. So what changed? Can someone tell me what changed?
A coach is getting maybe a little bit more out of him.
It's what we were saying earlier. Some players.
I still think he's doing this profile, but continue. Your thing is, you're not overly praising him, Marshall. You're not the one who's making tweets saying he's at fucking Arsenal now. That's the thing that bothers me. The guy's at my rival club. Like, why are people glazing over this guy?
But you're not the guy that's you're not the guy that's going on Twitter and saying, Kai Havertz reborn at Arsenal, because that's what a lot of the
Sky Sports, official media is actually saying this is ridiculous to me.
And it's amazing.
No, media hate. No, Marshall. Media hate Arsenal.
I know, but Sky Sports was the one that literally is saying what Oliver's saying. Crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. So I mean,
it's mad because when it's just you got a Google search away, you can go and check his numbers from Tuchel's full season here, and they are literally the same. Minutes to output
I think
ratio.
with less minutes played, to be honest, with less minutes played, I think Kai Havertz this season just edges over those numbers, but
with less minutes played. With less minutes played in that season, he's only scored one less goal than he has at this point in this season.
But yeah, the if you were to average it out, it's just about the same.
Yeah, minutes to output. Yeah.
Yeah, it's absurd what I'm hearing about all these players now that they're at other clubs. So Chelsea fan base, just do better. That's what I'm saying. The Twitter tacticos, do better. Watch football better. So that goes from that one. But ladies and gents, if you've gotten this far into the video, smash up the like buttons. Appreciate you guys for watching. Obviously, we got more to go. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, because hey, a lot of you guys are slacking on that subscribe. We're trying to make it here to 3K, and we're not even at 2.6. What's going on with you guys? You're moving like Kai Havertz out here. Come on, let's do better. But big up to everyone as always. Let's go ahead and continue on with the show and discussing this potentially being something happen. I don't think it's the tit for tat transfer, but they are being brought up at the same time. So let's go ahead and discuss Diamonde for Badiashile. So Ben Jacobs here reporting, Chelsea have always planned to bring in center back this summer. Ousmane Diamonde is undoubtedly one name quite high on the list of possibilities. Chelsea, the challenge is the fee. It's not going to be an easy negotiation. Now, where does Badiashile play in this? Well, let's talk about this. Fabrizio Romano saying Chelsea are yet to make a final decision on potentially allowing Benoit Badiashile to leave the club in the summer transfer window. And then we have here, Chelsea are currently not planning for Benoit Badiashile's exit in the summer. There are no plans for him so far. Chelsea already rejected approaches from Italian clubs for Benoit Badiashile last January. Now, I did ask this prior to the last game against, Sheffield, where I was really annoyed with Badiashile's performances. Or actually, even it wasn't Sheffield; it was United. I was really frustrated with his performances. I don't know what's been going on with him this season. It's probably the manager, to be honest, the coach. But he's just not been good, nearly anywhere near as good as he was last season. His game has dropped drastically. It could be an injury as well. Go ahead, Steve.
I have a theory. I mean, your back four is never, ever, ever, and some of it's injuries. Even when you have like a period where it's like there's a consistent center back next to him, consistent left back next to him, consistent right back. Same goes for Disasi as well. Center back, right back, center back, right back, center back, right back. I'll use Barca for an example. That was the problem with Koundé for a long time. Center back, right back, center back, right back, center back, right back. This center back next to him. This blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? If you have it settled back four, if you say you're the guy, maybe we'll rotate. Maybe we'll rotate you if you're tired or whatever. Like every once in a while, bro. There's no consistency in your back line. Absolutely none. In terms of the only one is the goalkeeper. That's it. And he's not a distributing goalkeeper. So it's not really that helpful to actually know, have good chemistry with the goalkeeper, because your goalkeeper penetrates kicks long anyways. So, and that's why I think it is, because your back four is always fucking changing, and the roles are always changing. That's why I think it is. However, I think there are some like fundamental things where it's like, bro, what are you doing? But that would be my possible explanation for it. Or yeah, I don't know.
Ahmed, you have some.
I was gonna say saying obviously he hasn't played that well this season. What centre back has really played that well consistent? Like I would say obviously Disasi's been our best, but even Disasi at times does not look great, and I just think it's down to maybe our system and Poch is like how we defended this season. It's one of the worst, maybe the worst we're going to have in defensive record. I'm not going to blame that all on our defenders, because you remember we saw Rudiger. He was part of that disaster of the defense, and when Lampard got sacked, we loved Rudiger. We loved him. So I think
we do.
Pardon?
Stop it.
Okay. No, yeah, like so I'm not going
Come
like
on,
and Badashile has come back from an injury. I just think it's a mixture of like stuff like that. We know how good Badashile was last season. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
true.
I'm not gonna throw him under the bus under Poch. This manager, I'm just not doing that. Like I want to see a next manager come in with an actual system in place. You know, not like this weird fucking.
You better hope you get a new
whatever we are doing now, like of a system it is. So yeah,
Mhm.
like. I don't blame the defense for that massively. I blame parts, you know, when they do stupid mistakes on the ball sometimes or something like that. But like, it's not like all on the defenders for me.
Let me give you guys a hypothetical. If Badishile were to leave in the summer, not to say that it's a tit for tat replacement, would you guys be happy if the other CB we bring in the departure of Badishile were Diamonde?
No.
Yeah.
I've only seen Diamond play back
analysis.
3 at Sporting. I've only seen Usman Diamond play in a back 3 at Sporting. And also, again, like Enzo Fernandez, people are getting hyped about Usman Diamond because his fucking comps look amazing and he looks like a fucking, you know, he just looks amazing. Like, but this is first season at Sporting. They have a back 3. Quates is always playing next to him. He has it. Sometimes they'll rotate for Inacio as well. Sometimes they'll have the other kid, Eduardo Quaresma. So sometimes they'll be in the mix. So it's like he hasn't established himself as I am Sporting Club de Portugal's starting back 3, midweek, week. He's done exceptionally well. I'm impressed by what I see. And obviously, Amorim deserves a lot of credit and the player himself. So I don't think he's ready yet because he hasn't mastered it yet. Notice how Ruben Diaz stayed at Benfica for 3 years. For 3 fucking years. And I could tell by the first year that, like, yeah, he's progressing really, really well. Second year, he's gone up a gear. Third gear, this guy could play for Man City. What did he do? He went to Man City. So it's one of those where it's like, he hasn't mastered his craft. And he's not going to if you have Poch next season. He's not going to.
Don't worry, man.
He's just not.
Poch.
Well, I mean,
No, don't agree with him. Hell no.
He's not going to develop under Poch. He just won't.
Yeah.
So, like, if you have a new coach in, maybe. But I still don't think he's ready to leave Sporting yet. He's not mastered his craft at Sporting. So,
Ahmed, you also rejected the idea, or at least you were vocal about it. Why? Is it what Steve said, or do you have another reason for not being satisfied if that were to happen?
Well, no, it's just because for me, I just fundamentally believe in Badiashile. I feel like, I think for me, yes, he's having a bad season. I think a lot of it's due to, low on confidence, not playing really well. Also, the injuries haven't helped him out at all, in my personal opinion as well. So, you know, and sometimes when you're a young player, there are like that. You do have that season where it's kind of like a low moment for you, and I feel like this is like his season, really. And I kind of like, I just feel like, you know, it's unfair on him. Does that make sense, Marshall? It's kind of unfair on him.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well,
you know what I mean. And plus, like Marshall, I think we also need to realize there's like another guy that's at the club that we bought for 75 million, who is useless and a broken toy. So,
I wanted to. Is it Fofana? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up because, like, Badiashile is a left-footed left centre back. Diomande is a right-footed centre back. I'd rather get a proper left centre back in, preferably left-footed. If you're talking about Diomande, I'd be much more willing to entertain swapping for Fofana. But unless you get me a better left centre back with left foot, I'm fine with Badiashile, and I'm fine with him anyway. I think when you posed the question in a previous stream, I said the only way because the question was, would you let him go to Milan? And I said the only way I'm allowing that is if it gives us a gateway to Teo Hernandez. Besides that, absolutely not.
Okay, fair enough. All right. That being said, we have goalkeepers to talk about, and apparently, maybe some bad news here in terms of priorities. So, apparently, reports have it that from Ben Jacobs is that goalkeeping is not a priority in terms of transfer targets. So let's go and discuss this here. Buying another keeper is not a priority for Chelsea this summer. They are happy with their current keepers, Robert Sanchez, Georgi Petrovic, and Gaga Slonina, and Gaga Slonina is highly rated for the future. And the Kepa Arrizabalaga situation needs to be resolved. Going on about Kepa Arrizabalaga, actually, Kepa Arrizabalaga will return to Chelsea in the summer as Real Madrid have no intention of keeping him. He wasn't too happy about not playing, but he was respectful, according to Kepa. Wasn't respectful to his parent club, discussing Kepa, I would say. Wasn't really respectful about his parent club, but I don't really care because I want him gone anyways. This guy's not good enough. He's not better than Sanchez. He's not better than fucking Petrovic. He's not better than...
I think this is referring to Real Madrid, by the way. Being respectful to Real Madrid that he's not playing right now.
Yes, but he wasn't respectful to Chelsea, even though he was on loan. So I don't really care. This guy, he's not good enough for Chelsea. Yeah, I remember this. No. But I mean, are you guys? I mean, Scott. I mean, I feel like you're critical about the goalkeeping aspect of our transfers. Are you upset that we're not prioritizing a keeper in the summer?
Not at all. I think there are other areas that need to be looked at first. I still maintain that one of the keepers that we have is good enough to get top 4, which I think should be our aim next season. And I think the goalkeeper situation is something you can address. Like it's almost similar to the striker position in terms of it's a position where, like, for me, where we've got a good enough person to get top 4. When we're looking to push on and win the league, that's when we address it. As I said, there are other positions I think we need to focus on. Centre back, potentially. Obviously, it depends on departures. Like with centre back, but that may be a position we need to address. Left back, certainly. Striker, I'd argue winger as well, particularly on the left. And sure. I'd even argue as well I'd even make the argument for centre mid as well. Yeah, I'd even argue for centre mid, for depth more than anything, and it would have to be a certain type of player. Excuse me. Yeah, I'd address, like, outside of right back and like the number 10 position. I think every other position I'd look at before goalkeeper.
Okay, fair enough.
The goalkeeping position has not been an issue this season when we've had Petrovic for the most part. And I'll be real, it's only been like recently where he's looked shaky. And if you look at a lot of the games where he's been shaky or made mistakes, like it's come from stupidness in terms of like you look at the mistake he made for the goal against who was it? Burnley?
Well, he's made mistakes. You could argue he's made mistakes in the last 3 games.
But it's like you look at the Burnley game. Like, yeah, he made a mistake in that game, but I'm like, we should defend that corner better. Like, the guy who scores is open. Like, if maybe if you just defend the corner better, he doesn't make that mistake. For example, like, that's what I mean. Like and again, Petrovic is good enough, like for us to get top 4, and especially like with what we're doing with Slonina. Like the whole point of us getting him in is to, like, at least in my mind, with us getting him, considering the what's the word, like PR, for lack of a better term, he had around him as a young goalkeeper. Like I thought the plan was to like get him up to speed.
Yeah. Also, big up Jacob for joining the chat.
Win. Just win every time.
What?
So that's Jacob.
Hey.
Jacob.
Oh,
Jacob,
sorry. I was so confused. about the voice.
And
that's also our Chelsea fan base, to be honest.
I got 4 on it. I got 4 little Spurs.
Oh yeah, you just beat Tottenham today. That's true.
I got 4 little Spurs, man. Man, y'all should just fold. I'll tell you right now, y'all motherfuckers just gotta fold as a football club. You can't score against a back 4 or back 5. A fucking Dubravka, a right winger at right back, and Murphy, a right back, a shit right back at right center back, Fabian Schär, who's good, and then fucking what's it called? Dan Burn at left back. You should be shaming yourself. Like, just fold. You're done. You are done. So,
But does anyone on the panel think that we should prioritize the goalkeeper in the summer, or are you along the lines the same?
I would say just go for a backup. Well, competition, not backup so much, and get rid of these two.
I just want to say, man. Listen, I'll be real with you boys. Let's just keep everyone, man. It's not going to be that much of a game changer. Again, we'll let Petrovic develop on the season. Give him time to breathe. And again, Pochettino is good enough for you to get a top 4 for next season, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, fair enough. I can't really disagree. And I honestly, I think I'm along the lines the same view. I think Petrovic is a good enough goalkeeper. Whether you agree or not, I think Sanchez can just he's okay. He can be enough as well. He needs to do better, but Petrovic is my number 1 at the moment. But I think we can be fine without a goalkeeper in the summer. I think we should prioritize other positions that we've been neglecting. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about a particular player that has been recruited, right? For this, he's under the youth model, but he's been absolutely outstanding and arguably, well, not even arguably, he is the best player for Chelsea this season, I would say. And that's discussing Cole Palmer, and Cole Palmer actually being a little frustrated. Let's look into why. But first, let's give Palmer some flowers, right? So, Cole Palmer is expected to be rewarded for his incredible first season at Chelsea with an improved contract that will include a lucrative pay rise. And we'll come back to this part of the discussion as well. But let's go on and continue. Rewarding Cole Palmer with a new contract is already becoming a topic of discussion inside and outside Stamford Bridge. More to improve his salary and recognition of his lightning progress than to add further length to his deal, according to Liam Toomey. Then we have here, Cole Palmer has been nominated for Premier League's Player of the Month award for March. Unfortunately, he did lose it out to Muniz, who's also had a phenomenal month when it comes to his football. But yeah, he did lose out to it to Rodrigo Muniz. Then we have continuing here, Cole Palmer was repeatedly frustrated with Axel Disasi yesterday for not getting forward enough and shouting at him on numerous occasions to be in the right position to free up space for the attackers. And this is the part where I think Cole Palmer has been expressing a little bit of frustration. And I think this alludes back to Poch, right? The lack of a system, the lack of positional awareness for our players, especially the ones that, I would say are younger in the team. Because apparently he was also frustrated with Enzo, or was it Caicedo? I don't remember. I think they reported that he was frustrated with another player in the team as well as Axel Disasi. But I think rewarding him with a better contract, I think goes against the grain that people want to say. People want to say that our wages won't be enticing enough for players to come in. This goes back to the incentive-based wages. People seem to forget that we've now switched to a more incentive-based wage because we are unfortunately, stop it. Unfortunately, this wasn't done for Raheem Sterling, which it should have very well been done for Raheem Sterling. But I feel like going back to the incentive. I feel like going back to the incentive wage structure helps motivate these players to do better and play, which maybe it's part of the reason why we haven't seen these players drop down tools, because these guys want to get paid more, But I don't know. What do you guys think about Palmer's frustration? Is it merited? Is it because of Poch? And do you think that he deserves his contract raise or salary raise?
It's because
Talk to me.
That fraud Todd Bowley had to sign, that, that minerals Sterling, that's what it is.
Fucking minerals, bro.
No, I'm just kidding. I just think, the reality situation is, yes, Palmer can be frustrated, but again, it's just about, I feel like a lot of what's happening right now is miscommunication, and B, there's not like a set system. You know what I mean? Maybe Disasi can't just see that Palmer's free. Maybe he thinks if I pass to Palmer, 3 men are going to be on him. Pause. No Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
Maybe Disasi's not a right back.
Yeah, maybe also, and this just goes to a wider point of where, our wingers are extremely isolated again. you saw it when Madueke was playing like Sheffield United. Yes, this is not an excuse because Sheffield United, but brothers doing 2v1. Like, I understand that wingers, if they're good enough, they can do the 2v1. And at times, yes, he was able to do it. But at the same time, there's no one that's like running behind him, overlapping him. No one's doing that for him.
Yeah.
Listen, even though I'm on the Fox Sterling approach and everything like that, because one of the reasons why I can understand the situation of both him and Mudryk to an extent is that you got Levi Cole there. Levi Cole ain't overlapping you, brother. Let's be honest.
If he does, it ain't gonna be effective.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even like, listen, Kukurea inviting, you know what I mean? You might as well just put me there to invite because nothing's happening with that guy in attack. So let's be honest, man.
Against Sheffield as well, you got.
I don't know about Ahmed inverting, but
Listen, if I invite, mate, I'm putting balls into the box and making sure they're in the net. That's what I'm saying.
Huh? Okay. Go ahead, Oliver. I just want
to say though as well. Against Sheffield, you've got Gallagher on the wing. That's a big thing as well. Where your support on the left hand side is zero. So, like, I'm going to be frustrated if I'm Cole Palmer, especially when I'm being moved out of position where my favorite and most effective position is the right hand side. I understand it.
I'm laughing because I'm thinking of Ahmed trying to invert, and then I'm imagining just Ahmed going.
Mauricio, I can't.
Very funny. I almost laughed. I almost got good at You were so hilarious.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right, I'm done. But listen,
you're a fraud, Marshall. I hope you know that, mate.
I love you too, bro. Fraud. I love you too. It's okay.
Yeah, go kill yourself.
No homo. By the way, I'm actually not. Yeah, let's have it fucking right. I'm not surprised. For this reason as well. Garnacho today was liking Mark Goldbridge's post about why is he getting sub? Why did Ten Hag sub off Garnacho and I remember last season with Anthony Gordon, not this Anthony Gordon. It was Anthony Gordon last season when we bought him in January and he didn't get himself in the first team. We had a game at Brentford. He came off pissed off, right? This is what young players do when they're not having the best form or whatever. Like they're patient, nice, good guys because they're just happy to be a part of the team and playing for whatever club, right? But eventually, like they stop the "I'm a Mr. Nice Guy" act, like the honeymoon's over kind of thing, and it's like, all right, you draw a line and be like, nah, I'm pissed off because I've been doing X, Y, Z. And now I'm getting fucked over, and it's frustration. This young player is just getting frustrated. It happens a lot more often than people think. Like I don't know if you guys ever remembered.
You know what it is though, Steve?
But that was a big thing. That was a big thing when Gordon was freaking out about Eddie Howe in our fan base. That was like,
I do remember that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But what it was a young player frustrated. The coach understood that, and then we just kept him moving. So it's just one of those instances.
I can hear the Gordon stuff, but the thing with the Garnacho stuff is that wasn't he like called out live on like in the
Ten Hag? I think Ten Hag had thrown him under the bus essentially in the press conference.
That's hilarious.
And like for me,
Ten Hag not having a good time.
The issue for me with what he did was it was more so that he was doing a Twitter thing because you know what I mean. Stuff like that.
But that's a way to show frustration publicly.
I get it. Which I get. But for me, I feel like that's just like a common thing that the everyday people do. Like where they're like, "Oh, we throw subliminals online," but rather than actually just going to the coach and be like to me, why are you doing that for? Like, what's going on? That's because usually a lot of the time you can solve stuff if you just speak to these guys face to face. That's all it is, man.
That's very true.
And like for me, just to think of like sometimes I say this before. I know under Mourinho, and I know under the old age of football, throwing under the bus just to fire them up to be able to do good performances the game later or stuff like that. But it's a new era now. Things are different. So that's what I'm gonna say to that one.
It's just a moment of friction, really. It's a moment of friction. Like, and also you want to see your players like annoyed instead of doing what Garnacho did, which I think is a bit selfish because it's like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
and like I said, I get it. He's frustrated, but it doesn't come across as like, I get the point that like the manager, you're frustrated by it, but like liking a tweet or being angry about like in game. The thing is about that is Twitter is after the game. Should be in a clear headspace. When you're on a professional football pitch and you're frustrated and pissed off, maybe you're losing and you get subbed off and you're like, no, but coach, I had a good game. You can easily just blow up and show frustration. This is after the game's over, this Garnacho thing. Obviously, it's not like in tweets during the fucking game. He's on the field. So that's also the difference. He's with a clear head is liking tweets and stuff. And that's how his expression is emotion and frustration.
You know, I was gonna add to something to what you said, Steve, about when you said that what he's doing is worse because he's doing it online essentially, right? And like, I think also the other thing is, especially it's also sometimes also the guy's tweet like him. If it's like a random fan, I don't think anyone is gonna care, right? But when it's someone that's arguably like the number one fan channel of like your own football club,
everyone's going to take notice.
Yes, you know what I'm saying to you. So
you are a fucking winger that plays for Man United, and some people suck your cock. Like, dude, of course you're gonna have a spotlight.
No, did he?
Bro, of course, everything you do when you're at this level of football for like that club or yours or even a Newcastle, if Tonali's getting like, bro, that comes with the territory. Everything you do, even if you like a random fan tweet and then unlike it, someone will have that screenshot. Because someone literally, like I said, they're sucking up Garnacho and stalking his media.
Again,
people have notifications.
I want that famous screenshot of him liking something.
Oh, I was so close to
because people have notifications for everything. When you follow them, you can do notifications for likes and tweets, and people gotta see it pop up and say, "Oh, what's this?"
And that's for me again fundamentally the issue, bro. And I think the good thing about Palmer at least is keeping it on the pitch. You know what I mean? We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So hopefully, we need. Sadly, he's also got Mauricio, as his coach. So
see, that's not in the comments.
Mauricio, I can't
drop off.
You know what I mean?
Watch.
You know what I mean? Like when you've got Mauricio there, you know what I mean. There's no tactical going on there. So
I go from a 16 out of 10 to a fucking 4.
Oh my god!
Yeah. A 16 out of 10 to a 4. That's what Cole Palmer did in coaching. Of course he's. I'm surprised he lasted so long. Because whenever he speaks in the media or interviews, but he clips on Twitter, like it's the typical like this generation of young players are like hyper mature. Like Jude Bellingham talks like a 30-year-old, but he's 19. He conducts himself in that way. But even he is getting pissed off because his form lately hasn't been outstanding for Real Madrid. Right? You've seen that on Twitter and stuff that like he's getting pissed off. He's getting pissed off in Man City in the Champs game. So that's what happens with young players, though. They do show their frustration. They do eventually, even if they're at the ultimate situation Bellingham is, where he's scoring a shitload of goals, but he hits a rough form. Ancelotti is a coach. So, of course, if you're at a 12th place Chelsea when Pochettino's your coach, I'm surprised he lasted this long.
True.
I thought he would have been freaking out. They fucking won. When you're so credit to him that he didn't I think it's impressive that like he maintained his composure for so long, but the bubble is always going to burst and he was always going to show a moment of public frustration.
Yeah.
I think the difference is now that he's got credit in the bank. If he did that straight out the gate in August, it wouldn't have gone down well. Now he's got the credit in the bank and the trust of the fans. He can go and do that, and people say
he's got an attitude problem. He didn't produce.
Well, that's what they say back in August. But now that he's performed, you can empathise with his frustrations because he's doing all he can, and then someone at the back's going to go and screw it up, and then we've drawn against Sheffield and Burnley.
It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like Rashford, I don't know if he would get more criticism because, like, again, I think he was like mediocre. No, that's even that would even be too far. Again, another anonymous Rashford performance. Like he's not getting animated. I don't know if it would be worse for him if he was getting animated and screaming and shouting, or by doing nothing. But the main problem is why people are looking at his body language in the first place. He's been terrible this season.
He's been horrible.
He's going to get criticized if he freaks out. He's going to get criticized if he is doing nothing. He looks depressed. I swear to God, the motherfucker looks depressed.
Mm-hmm.
So that I think that's a great point, Oliver. Tying the form with the reaction and the order of it, and
100%. But I mean, speaking of players on form as well, and player of the month, Strasbourg Steve. There's a reason you are Strasbourg Steve. Let's talk about your player of the month, Andre Santos, young player of the month for Strasbourg. Talk to us about how good he's been.
The league?
Yeah, it's young player
I think
of
it's
the
the
month.
league.
Young
For
player
the
of
league
the
or for
month.
the club, though?
No, for
The
the
league.
league. The league. And this is the league with the best young talent in the world. The best. Because it comes from Africa, it comes from Europe, it comes from American guys are getting in there. Like, bro, this is Liga is absolutely, for me, the league with the best, like, U21 talent for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. This is like, So, Andre Santos, man, I mean, the first thing that I will say is that since Vieira's introduced him, he's had a formation change because the whole season we've been playing with a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, but now we're playing a 3-4-2-1. Gilbert will sometimes play right back, right center back, or he's been more on the kind of wing back space. And we're playing Ibrahima Sissoko now, who is tall, he's physical, shuffles the ball around really well. But they have complementary skill sets, Andre Santos and Sissoko. That's why like midfield duos, Arsenal gassing up. Oh my God, the best midfield, the best defensive partnership. It's important to have a partnership. That's what Sissoko and Andre Santos have right now. So, he does a great job of reading the game from deep. He takes nice touches in. He's press resistant at moments. But what he does ultimately is he carries the ball and looks for Sissoko, and they've got a really, really nice partnership so far. I'm impressed with what I've seen, and it comes with the formation change suiting our squad, and this particular player is benefiting from it hugely. So I'm liking what I've seen from Andre Santos, very much so.
That's good to hear.
Player,
Chelsea have a promising player in their hands. Who would have known?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, the formation change from a 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1. That's been one of the biggest parts of it. So, but yeah, he's doing good, man.
Sweet. Anyone else want to sing Andre Santos' praises? Ahmed, you faced an L to Andre Santos. You wanna speak on?
Ahmed, you watched Ligue 1, right? Have you watched any Strasbourg this year?
Yeah.
When they were facing my team, I have, but I haven't watched them as regular.
What's your team and what's your Ligue 1 team?
I usually watch Rennes, to be honest. That's who I usually watch. So
Peter Cech, that's fair.
So that's the team that I usually watch. So, but no, when he played against us, he played actually really well. They actually were playing much better than us. They were beating us on the counter attack quite well. So, I'm impressed with them.
But yeah, no, he's doing well. He's doing well, bro. And like I said, Sissoko is a good complementary. Like everything he might lack in a moment or just as a player, Santos has, and vice versa. So he's in the right place for sure.
Take care of him for us, right, Steve? Anyone want to?
Thank you, what's wrong with you?
What? No, I'm just saying. Dude, this guy's gonna be the truth next season.
Oh.
I hope.
No.
Depends if we keep fucking Poch or not. God damn it, he might actually not play him at all next season.
The guy has a dad, Marshall. I just want you to know.
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
Anyways,
You know.
No, Andre Santos. I know some of us. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. I think a lot of us, and maybe Steve can agree as well from his perspective. We're really frustrated to not see Andre Santos play in the beginning, but Vieira finally introducing him, and now he's staying in that lineup firmly as a starting 11 player is good. It's good to see it happen. You know, we all know the Nottingham Forest loan was absolutely garbage for him, and I'm glad Chelsea was able to rectify it. So good on them to do so. Good on
Speaking
him
on that, I just want to send my regards to Steve Cooper. You know, my man's still in the job centre. Meanwhile, our guy's picking up individual awards. You know, it's what it is, man.
Yeah, exactly. So you can hold that, Steve Cooper, you freaking goonie of looking of a manager. Freaking weirdo.
Wow, man.
This guy's weird looking. One of the ugliest managers I've ever seen in my lifetime.
He just looks like a meth head.
Yeah, exactly. Screw you, Steve Cooper. Anyways, let's discuss another young player that we have here that maybe a few of us don't like, but regardless, Chelsea seem to like him. Who? Mudryk Nation? No, not Mudryk. No Mudryk today. Alfie Gilchrist gets a new contract.
No fucking way.
Yeah, so exclusive. According to Matt Law, Chelsea agree new contract with Alfie Gilchrist. New deal will run to 2026, so 2 year. Hey, look at that, guys. We didn't sign a player down to a prison contract with option for a further year. Then we continue on here that the plan for Alfie Gilchrist is to loan him to a championship club next season as part of his development. 3 to 4 teams have already expressed an interest, according to Simon Johnson. Both club and Alfie Gilchrist feel he will benefit from getting regular game time as part of his progression. I don't see a future for him at the club, but who knows? I could be wrong about that. He could improve in whatever position he decides to play in. But yeah, this guy is too raw for Chelsea right now, and I'm not sure why he didn't go on loan in January. Maybe because of the contract situation. But I guess
because Poch loves him.
Poch or Oliver Scott. I mean, your thoughts on this new contract?
Scott, you can go first on this.
It's a 2-year extension. He'll be sold in a year. I'm being serious, by the way. I'm being dead serious. Notice that every other youth player that we're interested in keeping, whether it was, or like we're not even interested in keeping, where like that we're trying to just keep. Yeah, we're locking them down. Like Matson was like, I think initially it was like we were trying to do like what 5 years or something. Yeah. Chalobah, Hall, regardless of whether these guys got sold or whatever, right? We're giving mad contracts. We gave this guy a 2-year extension. He's getting sold, and when he does, it'll be a glorious day. He's shit. We have better centre backs in our academy. Now online, we have better right backs in our academy.
Scott, how much more talented is Lewis Hall than this dude?
Oh, immensely.
Yeah, there you go.
Lewis Hall was in a different universe.
Lewis Hall played out of was a centre mid playing out of position at left back and didn't look out of place.
At Man City, right? Twice?
Yes. Not even just at Man City. Like he played other games there, didn't look out of place at all, especially going forward. This kid, he's too small to play as a centre back, and he offers nothing as a right back.
Dude.
He's not even good defensively. That's what's jokes. Like everyone was saying about how good he was defensively because of like a 2-minute cameo against some rando team. I don't remember who it was. And then ever since then, he's been coming on and getting skinned. Was it Leeds where he came on and I think Somerville or whoever was playing left wing in that game, like ruined him twice. This dude is getting ruined by championship wingers.
Yeah,
he stinks. He's awful.
People really only rate him because he looks like he's putting in an effort. Which
the only reason people rate him is because of John Terry.
Yes.
Wait, why is that? What does he have to do with
John Terry? Said
Terry co-sign.
Yeah, in an interview, it was either an interview or on Instagram. I think someone asked him who's the next dude out of the academy that you rate, and he said Gilchrist. That's the only reason people rate him.
Yeah, people want this guy as our interim manager, eventually.
By the way. Yeah, no. I mean, maybe he gets good down the line, but I could give less of a shit, to be honest. I'm with Scott. I don't really care. I mean, he could I could give less of a damn about this player. He hasn't really shown me anything to really convince me that there's potential in him, other than he cares and maybe he cups the fans, guys. I don't know, bro. Like it's a strange phenomenon.
Wait, why do we even talk about this?
Because he got
has
a
a contract extension.
Who gives a fuck?
Dry news. Dry news.
What?
Hey man, I can't neglect. There's proper Chelsea people that listen to this show. I can't neglect them. You know what I'm saying?
I've only got one more thing to add. I've only got one more thing to add to this, by the way. This just gives me another reason to want Reece James to stay fit, so that I never have to see this guy ever again. Yeah. The only reason Gilchrist gets in is when Gusto has to come off because he's been overplayed.
Exactly. So, yeah, let's hope we don't talk about Alfie Gilchrist anymore after this. I could give less of a damn about this guy. He's just taking up space in my show. But I had to bring it up because it is news. What were you going to say, Chris?
I said, oh, but we will talk about Alfie Gilchrist when he signs a contract. Oh, but we will.
Listen, man, Reece James, man. Listen, Reece James, man. Let's just get fit and play at least 10 games in a row. Play 10 games in a row. But sorry, 10 has been too hard. You can play 5 games in a row, 90 minutes plus.
You can play 5 games in a row, I'm pretty sure.
Not get injured. I'm happy for him.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my toes!
This is.
You know what? Because Chris is trying to act like he's done it. You know what? 10 games in a row. I want you to play 10 games in a row, 90 minutes plus.
What changed? Why 5? What up to 5? He hasn't even played 10 games this season.
Because Chris has been a prick, so I'm going to say 10 games in a row. No injuries.
Yeah. He played 5 games in a row. Hold up, man. You can hold
Okay, so you know what? Okay, then.
Bruh.
10 games in a row. No injuries.
He would've
90-minute plus, Chris. 90-minute plus.
By the way, without
minutes,
injuries, he technically played 6 in a row because he got that red card suspension from no.
Oh, shut up, Chris, man.
You are.
Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy.
Look at this guy.
He's really deep in there. That's what I'm gonna say.
I'm just saying. Most of
What do
the
you
games
mean by
that?
You guys Scott and soundboard at the same time. Well,
actually, about Reece James, you know what it is, yeah? Here's the thing. If Pochettino is your manager going into day 1 of the transfer window, you need to sell Reece James. Because we need to sell Pochettino. Well, yes.
Sell Pochettino.
Any words like that?
Ocean oil or something.
Yes, that. If I was a Chelsea fan, that's what I would do. If I ran your club, that's what I would do. I'm just saying, if he is there, that clearly means they're going to give him the summer and they're going to give him a chance at the beginning of the season. And if everybody's getting injured for you guys, there is no fucking point, because I guarantee you on my life, if Pochettino's your manager next year, I'm going to be talking to have the same exact conversation. I am like 90% sure of it. Even though he's getting the surgery, players without a injury history this season under Poch have been injured all the fucking time. So I'm just saying, if you guys fire Poch, a managerial change, you should keep Reece James and give him a chance. Poch is gonna batter the fuck out of this dude. I'm sorry. So you may as well just sell. If you're gonna go down this,
you're just saying sell because you want him on replacement for Trippier, because Trippier's like what, 30 something?
No, I want Danny Carvajal as a Trippier replacement.
You want who?
I'm saying no to Reece James. Huh?
He wants Danny Carvajal, he said.
Yeah, I want Danny Carvajal. Danny Carvajal is everything Trippier is times 200,000. This motherfucker is like, how many UCLs, how many La Ligas, how many this, how many that? Like, if you're gonna if you need a replacement for Kieran Trippier, call up Danny Carvajal. He's got 1 year left on his deal, also. So
fair enough.
That's how. If I was a Chelsea fan, that's how I think about it. Because if you guys keep Pochettino and he's there match day 1 and Reece James starts, he's probably gonna get injured.
Probably. I could see that. Time will tell. We will discuss Pochettino's future in a few. Which, by the way, if you are watching, ladies and gents, smash up those like buttons because we are close to 40 likes on the stream. So hey, smash it up, and if you're watching in the future, smash it up and try to get it to whatever closest decibel number you have there. Whatever. I don't know what I just said. I think I messed up two measurements of stuff. Anyways, who cares? Smash the like buttons. That's the point. Anyways, let's go ahead.
Potchin.
Wait, I need to understand this. What's up, Ahmed?
Go ahead.
Why are you saying Potchin?
He's being toxic positive.
Oh, happy top red Staffy. Okay, cool. All right.
Top red Ahmed.
Top red proper Chelsea Ahmed.
Proper Chelsea Ahmed. There you go. Exactly. So now that we're speaking on proper Chelsea, I didn't really want to bring up this story really because I thought it was from the beginning I thought it was such nonsense. But the fact that it's actually become a club statement and it's gotten so out of hand. Listen, I hope for the most part all of us on this panel are actually reasonable about this, despite the agendas, despite our dislike for the character. Listen, I think this is really dumb, but we're gonna bring it up. The Gallagher scandal. This has been happening recently with the whole racismo bullshit. I think it's really, really dumb. But I'm gonna. What do you think I was gonna say?
I forgot this happened.
Well, yeah, it did happen, and I have to bring it up. I know it's really late. It's 10 days late. But Chelsea club statement on Conor Gallagher. The subsequent level of abuse and defamatory comments directed towards Conor Gallagher is completely unacceptable. We are proud to be a diverse, inclusive club where people from all cultures, communities, and identities feel welcome. And this is all revolving around this fucking stupid thing. Like, okay, listen, I get it looks bad, but didn't this happen to him before as well, this mascot? I'm pretty sure it happened with him and another player as well, and I think it was Raheem Sterling, actually, funny enough.
You're thinking of when Enzo went to the crowd to try and give people a shirt, and then these two men tried to intercept it basically, and he just blanked them. That's what that was. It wasn't a mascot.
No, wait, no, I'm right. Look, it was Raheem Sterling. You can see it. He leaves his hand up, and he looks at Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling's just walking away. So Raheem Sterling did it to him too. This guy just can't get.
The narrative should be Raheem Sterling hates black people. That's what the narrative should be.
Oh my god.
Hey, Ahmed, there's more bullets for your gun in the war against Sterling. There you go.
This is why I. Oh my god.
Okay.
This is what I mean. Twitter is such.
Exactly.
Twitter is such a fucking mentally sickening place that people are. This I think this started off as a meme, and people actually started to run with it.
Well, yeah, because people don't know how to do a joke. I mean, I think actually, obviously, this is on Twitter. I think most of this actually, I think they went at the time. They went under Gallagher's most recent Instagram post and started just going mad with the racism thing. Like, it was under his Instagram more so, and that's like directly targeted.
Not Sterling missing another chance. That's a good one. That's a good one. I got to give you that one, Extall. That's a good one. Yeah, that's great.
Listen, man, I want to speak on Sterling, but I'm gonna keep it halal.
Keep it halal. That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, the thing is, like, this is just dumb. Listen, it happens.
Really?
He didn't.
Really?
He didn't realize. I think it's kind of silly that he didn't see it, but he didn't realize that the kid wanted to get a dap up and you got left hanging. Okay, it happens. He still acknowledged him. He patted him on the shoulder and whatever. Like, this is just stupid. This is Chelsea fan base being so ridiculous. Like, I don't listen. Scott, you don't think he's a racist, do you?
No, I don't think he's racist.
Okay, listen, Scott on this panel. Scott has the biggest agenda on Gallagher, to a certain extent, rightfully so. He doesn't like the player. Even he can admit Gallagher's not a racist. So, listen, the guy's not been that. He's not been. Shut up, Chris. The guy's not been that great this season, in my opinion. I think he's okay. I think he's mid, if anything, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. take the footballing aside and you take out the actual personality. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, take the
No,
football out
Marshall,
of it,
this
even if you
isn't-
don't rate him. This is like, you don't have to run an agenda like this.
Marshall, I genuinely don't think this is people thinking he's racist. This is people that don't know how to do banter and don't know how to do a little joke. Like, I can't remember exactly, but I'm sure this probably got shared in the Casually Discord. You know what we did? We put a laughing reaction on it, and that was it.
Or
But
you
people
said
wanna go-
like I did, where it's like, oh yeah, Raheem Sterling hates black people. Clearly,
It was just like, you know, a little chuckle and we move on.
Yeah,
It was just a little chuckle, we move on. But no, people want to go to his Instagram and barrage it with all
That's
this.
the insane
madness.
part. Like, it's
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
weird,
Happened
like-
to Enzo
I'm sure
before
those
as
people
well,
have
like,
really-
people have social media is.
I'm sure
it's full
the-
of fucking idiots.
I'm sure those people saying all this stuff to Gallagher is successful, fulfilling, and happy lives. I'm sure they have, you know, nothing more amazing to do than that. Yep. Those are the kind of people that do that. It's like, no, those are fucking weirdos.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Really,
Yeah,
really.
it's so dumb, and it's just like, dude, get a life. Like, even if you don't like the player, like, you don't have to do stupid shit like this. Just should run an agenda against him. Like. I think the joking part, yeah, it's fine, but the people who took it seriously and then ran with it, just because they have an agenda, I think is actually ridiculous. So let's move on to another part of the show, because again, I think that's just ridiculous, and I just wanted to address it. I didn't address it initially because I thought it was stupid, and like I said, like Oliver said, it was a joke, and then it became serious, which is absurd. But let's talk about the medical and injuries going on at Chelsea. So there's been some medical updates as well as injury updates, and unfortunately our player Enzo is falling into this category. So let's discuss and see what we have here. So Chelsea players are being targeted by private sports medicine experts looking to pounce on club's ongoing injury crisis. 2 senior Chelsea players have so far rejected the advances of practitioners, instead putting faith in club's current medical department. Chelsea are looking to add physical performance coach to their staff in the coming weeks, a role specifically designed to aid the reduction of injuries. We move on. Enzo Fernandez didn't train because he has inflammation in his abdomen. There is no rupture, muscle strain, or injury. There is a chance that they will rest him against Everton so that he can play against City in the FA Cup. Then we go on here, Levi Colwill, which we haven't heard of in quite some time now. Levi Colwill is hoping to return from toe injury in time to face Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final on April 20th, coming from Simon Johnson. The club were already treating the issue, diagnosed as metatarsophenogeal. Oh my days.
Metatarsophlangeal.
Thank you. You know what?
Metatarsophlangeal.
That was impressive. Metatarsophalangeal joint
ligaments.
There you go. Injury, but decided Colwill needed to spend some time on the sidelines. I think more info on this. As part of his rehab, he has had to wear a protective boot, but that came off a few weeks ago. Chelsea are now putting a timeline on his return, but Levi Colwill is now doing some light training. Okay, that's the same thing. So Colwill looking like he's going to return for City, and we have Enzo who has inflammation in his abdomen. Could be part of that pubaglia injury, which is that hernia in the groin area, I believe. It could have something to do with that. I don't know.
Balls.
Yeah, sticking balls. Okay, yeah. I don't know about that, but yeah, I guess it's gonna stink to not have Enzo for Everton. I mean, we're gonna need any creativity we can get against Everton, but. Yeah, guys, thoughts on this? This is frustrating to see now Enzo being on the injuries list. Are you happy with Colwill returning? I think Colwill returning is going to be a big boost to the defense. I'll be honest with you. If he's going to continue to play that,
it's going to be 2 games and he'll get injured again.
Listen, I'm happy he's on the injury list.
Who?
And I don't mean
Enzo? Because he can get a break?
Huh?
Okay.
Because, you know what I mean? That guy has been working, you know, man.
He's been a workhorse, yeah.
He's been.
He's been worked like a horse.
I can use stronger terms about how he's been worked as.
By the way, I had the stat on this RC, but I've got the stat for Enzo as well. I think Enzo started every single game since mid-January.
You know, I could make a joke here
All
about
comps?
yeah.
All comps. Yep.
Yeah,
Probably,
I could make a certain comparison to Enzo, but I need to always remember that he's Argentinian. So you know, what I mean, it's not. It's going to be contradictory if I make that term. I have to, you know, I have to chill out. But listen, man, we'll go with Marshalls. He's been worked like a horse. At the end of the day, it's good for him to have a break and let him relax for a bit. We probably do need him though for Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
When is that game? Is that Saturday or Sunday?
yeah, Saturday.
Saturday. So we do actually need him then. And then we have Arsenal, I think, afterwards, don't we? After Man City. So we do kind of need this brother, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, whoa.
That'll be a rough one.
I don't think it honestly I don't think it matters if it's against City and Arsenal. I just don't. I don't think it helps or hurts. Not because he's a bad player, good player, whatever. I just don't favor you in those matchups because your manager versus their manager. You're conceding 2 goals in 8 straight games. That's how I look at Chelsea now, bro. For the Everton game on Monday, I'm just assuming they scored 2 goals somehow. So then it's a question of, do I rate Chelsea's attack to get more than 2 goals or less than 2 goals against Everton? I think you will. So I went 3-2. Against Man City, can you get 2 goals with or without Enzo? Possibly. So, I don't know. I don't think it makes a huge difference. It's obviously again, it's not a good or a bad thing. But I don't think it's like, oh my God, you're missing Enzo. You cannot beat Arsenal. At the same time, it's like, we can do this without Enzo, because then another midfielder gets a chance, because then you have to do Gallagher. You know what I'm saying? Another midfielder gets to play the 10 or maybe this. So, yeah. And also, to be honest, it takes him out of the spotlight. Like Ahmed said, he's right. It's like, it takes him out of the spotlight. He can get a rest. It's obviously not a good thing to get injured, but you can just chill for a bit. Why the fuck would you play against Everton on Monday anyways? Fuck that.
Problem is that Poch won't play another midfielder in Enzo's place. He'll move Gallagher from 10 into the pivot, and then he'll take Palmer from the right and put him into the centre, into the 10 to play Madueke on the right. When that's clearly not. You build your team around your best player. You don't, not vice versa. Palmer needs to be on his best position. Put Carney in the number 10. He's a good player. Give him a chance. That's actually giving a player a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But we won't see it. We just know that we won't see it.
Okay,
And
so
that's
actually,
the
yeah,
frustrating
you're
part.
right. You're right. That's actually, you know what, to be fair, you're right. Because you're right. He fucking freaks out and moves everything like an L shape. It's like, oh, okay, this guy, he's down. Palmer.
Mauricio, I can't.
Motherfucker does literally an L rotation if one of your midfielders,
He is an L.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a walking L.
It's a walking alley. So, that actually is a big blow. But having said that, I don't think, I think my point still stands, because it's I don't think you'll beat Man City or Arsenal. Maybe Arsenal, because they do like the bottle. But, Man City, this is their...
elite club, bro.
How dare you?
This is Man City's win period. It's the business end of the season. They're going to smack everyone around. The only one that has a chance of getting points off them or a result, and I think they will, is Real Madrid. I think they'll get a draw at the Etihad and win on pens or extra time or something. That's the only team I see capable of that, because they're in this crazy just win everything mode. I think you might just get swept up by that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, they haven't beaten us yet this season. That's the best accolade we've gotten this season. Is Man City have not beaten us. Yeah, it's not really much, unfortunately. That's about the best thing. That's the only trophy we can walk off with this season so far, besides the summer series. But speaking of summer series and trophies and our ownership, which we didn't speak about ownership at all, I'm going to bring it up right now with this awesome transition of mine. Todd Bowley has spoken. Todd Bowley has a few comments that we're going to look at. And the first one is right here. Todd Bowley on Chelsea project. This is according to Forbes. We just need to let the process develop and give them time to go from unbelievable individual players with great skills to fold into a team. Then we have here the next little quote from this article. The good news is people care so much, and the bad news is people care so much. That leads to times when they're frustrated with the team and the owners. I get that, but we just have to continue to stay the course. So Todd Bowley asking for fans to be pretty much trust the process and be patient. Do we agree? Was this the right thing to say? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I hate when motherfuckers say, I get that, and then just reiterate their thesis statement. It's like,
but
you didn't need to. It's almost like when it says, I personally believe. No shit! It's you believe. I believe. Fucking words. Honestly, it's just word salad. Like, you don't need to put, I get that. That makes sense grammatically. At least it has when they're frustrated with the owners. We just have to stay the course. Stop saying unnecessary fucking words. It makes, because then it seems, it's like, oh, I get that. I get that, little Jimmy, but I'm kicking you out the fucking house and you're homeless. Huh? It's like, you saying I get that means nothing. It's word salad to make it look a certain way. So, but yeah, saying good news is people care so much, and then saying the bad news is another one of my pet peeves, because it's just like, I don't even know.
See, Steve's not even a fan, and he's frustrated. And
remember, my fucking brain is just broken, bro.
Ahmed, remember a while ago when you said that the owners need to come out and say something to alleviate the fans? I really think it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. Like, either way, people are going to get pissed off.
I'll be real, yeah, but like, I feel like they do have some level of frustration. I'm sorry, bro. You know what I mean? There's going to be only few and far between
But who's frustrated? Are you referring to the fans, or are you referring to
no, yes, their frustration, in my opinion, in this sense, is valid. Why are you talking in Forbes, big man? I'll be real with you. Listen, you can have an interview with Forbes, but the reality situation is, yeah, the vast majority, yeah, of your audience is not reading Forbes. Let's be real, bro. The vast majority of Chelsea audience is not reading Forbes. You know, Forbes, on some level, is a niche magazine that, you know, it's usually for businesses, business relations and stuff. Not everyone is going to be a businessman, Chelsea, for the, or should I say the vast majority. So, again, you know, I always say, you have your own platform. You have Chelsea Fan TV, you have Chelsea YouTube. You can do all the PR stuff that you want to get.
You have the bridge 3258. Subscribe.
Exactly, but you have, but like you already have like the Chelsea FC on YouTube, or even the Fifth Stand app, yeah, or even the website. Just make an interview there, have your PR team if you want to get it ready, and make you say the quotes you need to say correctly, and bang, it's done. But no one's gonna read Forbes. I'll be real.
If I ever get caught reading Forbes, I hope someone shoots me in the fucking head.
Because the reality is, man, like, you know, Forbes is a business paper. It's not. It's like reading. It's like reading The Economist, essentially. So it's not. You know what I mean? It's not really. Was it?
I agree with Ahmed on that. Like, I think we've said it before. The biggest problem with the communication from the ownership, it's not the fact that they aren't communicating, because, like we said, you know, Roman didn't do it and no one cared. The problem is when they do it through secondary and tertiary means, like business conferences, Forbes magazine. It would be best. And listen, you're going to get a bit of a lose-lose with some people because they just hate the owners. You know, your Minerals and whatnot. They're just.
Let's have it right.
That is a damned if you do and damned if you don't. But you're just going to have to accept that, because that's what you're going to get. And at the end of the day, listen, you haven't done well enough to deserve the benefit of the doubt now. So you just have to take it on the chin. But communication through the club's mediums, that's what I'd like personally. If you're asking me, if I had to care, that's what I would say. Do it through the club's mediums, not through this secondary and tertiary, you know, where you've actually got to put some effort in to go and find it.
Go on like ESPN, my bro. Go on Sports Center. Go on like fucking like somewhere where sports news is. Like,
I'm not even saying that. Like, address your fans through the club. Use the club to do that.
Yeah, the thing you fucking.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. But like, at the end of the day, like, yo, you're on mute, man.
That's why I was saying, bro, Chelsea Fan TV is available for you. Well, not the actual fan channel. I mean, actual Chelsea, the YouTube website is there for you. You have the website. You have the Fifth Stand app. You know what I mean? You even have Twitter, where you can just make a short video for everyone to read to watch.
That's a good point for Soliman, though.
By the way, you can probably even push a statement through the supporters trust.
No one is saying that you shouldn't be answering questions about Chelsea on Forbes. We are saying to you though, you shouldn't be talking about Chelsea on Forbes in the sense of you should really be talking on actual stuff if you want to get your point of view across, not on Forbes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, I did pose the question to Ahmed about, Ahmed did mention a few streams ago about, the ownership coming out and having an interview and discussing this, and I did say, damn if you do, damn if you don't, and I'm looking at this now, and it's kind of like a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation where they spoke and now, but they weren't speaking on addressing the club, they were just doing an interview and they happened to be questioned about Chelsea, so I get where you're coming from, but yeah, I agree with you guys too in the sense that if they were to come out and do a statement, which I feel like, again, I still think it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. And Oliver, you are right. A lot of the damn if you don't or damn if you do is going to be, the mineral munchers and that army and that, side of the fan base that just don't want anything to do with Bowley and Blueco, I should say. But, if they do come out, hopefully, and have a discussion on Chelsea and address the fans, hopefully it is through the Chelsea mediums and addressing the fans directly.
I think just one other problem as well is and this goes to even Barley, Winstanley, Stewart, Pochettino. It's just a lack of accountability. There's no mention that we are underperforming. We acknowledge that we understand the frustrations. It's just, it's a problem that they care because they don't trust us and all that. I think it can come off as a bit wrong. Leave a sour taste. Not me personally, but I can understand how other people would feel like that. Just acknowledge that we're not doing well enough. You put a lot of money in, and it's clear that it's not gone the way you want. That's understandable. You shouldn't get criticised for that. And if you do, then just ignore it.
Yeah, I understand that.
But that's how you build a connection. If you want a connection between your fans, that's how to do it. You'd be honest.
Yeah, I understand that. Speaking on connection between the fans, I do want to transition to our final topic. But before I do, ladies and gents, smash up the like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe if you haven't done so already as well. And check out Strasbourg Steve's channel. It's right there in the description. I just put it in there for you guys to check it out. You do a lot of watch-alongs for multiple leagues, right, Steve? As well as
I'm always adding a new league, bro. Always. I did a 2 Bundesliga game on Friday. That's the first one. I've got a Ligue 2 game on next weekend. Yeah, I'm adding more and more. Yeah. So that's what I do.
If you want a more diverse footballing channel, not just a simple fan channel, check out Steve's channel, man. He does a lot of that stuff that he just mentioned, the watch-alongs in different leagues that, he can give you proper analysis about all that stuff.
Analysis? You just create a word? Did you just create a fucking word? Analysis?
Yes.
Fucking
yes.
Yeah.
Proper English-speaking gentleman right here. But let's go on and go to our final topic. Speaking of gaining the trust of fans, right? Let's talk about Pochettino's future. So let's start off with this first tweet. We have quite a series of tweets to discuss. So first things first is, according to Fabrizio Romano, I expect Chelsea to be busy again in the summer transfer window. That's for sure. It won't be similar to January where we did no business whatsoever, except for we did one thing in January, which was take Santos from Nottingham Forest to Strasbourg, and maybe one more. I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, that's all we did. Oh, we
did, right?
No, we cancelled Casaday's loan. I forgot about that.
Cancelled
yeah.
And we sent Broja out.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful idea.
Sent Broja out to be third choice striker at Fulham.
Yeah, lovely. So let's continue on. Thomas Tuchel and Jose Mourinho are not thought to be considered by Chelsea despite short-term PR win. No candidate is actually being seriously pursued to date, and Chelsea sources insist in particular that Roberto De Zerbi is not on the radar as it stands. And you know what? Chris, you can hold that.
That's cool.
There's all this Jose Mourinho glazing.
It's also Ben Jacobs. So.
It's also Ben Jacobs. Well, time will tell. I don't think Ben Jacobs is the most reliable.
Bring me Mourinho. Bring me Danny
You
Carver.
can have him.
Yes.
You can have Mourinho.
Yeah.
Maybe he will go.
Yes.
Let's continue on. Chelsea have inquired about Ruben Amorim. However, he has a verbal agreement in principle with Liverpool. Let's hope. This is coming from Florian Plettenberg, which I don't know how reliable he is when it comes to English media.
They're talking shit sometimes. I can't lie.
I was going to say Amorim himself came out and said this isn't true. There's no agreement.
There you go. You see, guys, you can't believe everything that you read out there. Not when it comes to Florian Plettenberg is German based, right? Or is he Italy? No, he's German based.
German.
Yeah, German outlet speaking on media English team. Usually, I don't know. That already was kind of a red flag to me.
I don't know how reliable he is in general. I just know for this, De Zerbi came out and said that this.
He just be talking.
I think for German news, he's pretty reliable.
Plettenberg sometimes be talking mad shit. I can't lie.
Yeah. So there you go, ladies and gents. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott, for being the real bringer of news and truth. So, I appreciate you for that.
Motherfucker's forehead is gigantic, by the way. Holy fucking hell.
Amorim?
No, fucking Florian Plettenberg. Motherfucker has to pay property tax on that thing. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's continue on.
Property tax on that. Oh my God.
It is legitimate to wonder whether Mauricio Pochettino has what it takes to unlock the potential in this squad. But the more you look at Chelsea, the more it becomes apparent this malaise goes. Malaise? Did I read that right? Malaise? I have never heard that word in my life. It is more apparent this malaise goes far deeper than the manager and far, far deeper than his tactics for a team selection on any given match day. And this is coming from Oliver Kay from The Athletic. We go on. In arguably the best period of their season, with an FA Cup semi-final on the horizon and a top 6 finish not out of the question, Mauricio Pochettino sounds less convinced by the group of players he is working with. Yeah, the reaction is merited. But listen, it's not... The top 6 finish is not out of the question, but arguably the best period of the season is a very low bar for best period of the season, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's
but he's
crazy.
not necessarily wrong, but it's not good regardless of how you word it.
If you finish top 6, that Man United should fold as a club. Right? Fold as a club. West Ham.
That's true.
If you don't win Europa League and finish below these guys, y'all should fold as clubs. Newcastle, you should fold. I do not see you guys finishing above 9th.
Steve, you know what's funny though?
Finish 10th. Go on.
Even if we finish 6th, still might only get us Conference League.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for real? Wait, let me look. Hold on. Really?
As of right now, 6th is Conference League. For us, that like. There is high likelihood that 6th place will get Europa League because of the FA Cup. But, like, say United finish outside. Say United win the FA Cup, which is not outside the realm of possibility, right? And they finish outside the top 6. That means they'll get Europa League.
They could drug Man City in the final before the game.
Yeah, 100%. Like, they could easily win the FA Cup. Like, easily.
Yeah.
And if they do and finish outside the top 6... Actually, no. Sorry, if they do and finish outside the top 5, then they'll get Europa League, which means 6th. For us to get 6th at that point, we're entirely reliant on either Liverpool or West Ham winning the Europa League. One of those teams definitely isn't, or Villa winning the Conference League, which is plausible. But it's like, this is what we're reliant on for us to get into the Europa League. The amount of loopholes, or not loopholes, the amount of hoops that have to be jumped through for us to just finish Europa League and like for us finishing 6th. It's insane.
And this is also assuming, which would be crazy to do, that you guys are just gonna go on a mad winning run.
I'll be real, like it's not even that, like because I look at the table, like taking what you like out of it and what you know about Chelsea, right? Like, if we win our 2 games in hand, I think we go 7th. Like, depending on the.
We have a better goal difference than you, but you go to 50 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, like obviously we need a mad goal swing to catch you guys, catch Newcastle.
16.
But we'd be on the same points as you.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not out of the realms of possibility. But then you put context, and it's like we couldn't beat Sheffield United. Our 2 games in hand are against Tottenham and Arsenal.
Yeah.
Like.
And our schedule to end the year is decent, to say the least. Like there's some winnable games. I think our toughest game is away at Man United.
And the thing is, as well, is because of the schedule and the way everything works out, right? There's a chance with that Tottenham game. I think it's either Tottenham, one of the games in hand. I think it's the Tottenham one. I don't think it's been decided when that's being played yet. There's a chance because of the fucked up schedule, we could have to play that as our like penultimate game of the season because of the fucked up schedule and everyone having to play like.
Oh wait! Talk about the Chelsea Spurs game. There's a date. There's a date for that.
Has it been announced yet?
Yeah, it says on SofaScore April 2nd, 2:30.
They must have.
So it's on the same day and roughly time as Europa League.
April 2nd?
Are you sure?
May 2nd.
May.
That says on SofaScore. So okay, go on.
No, you're right. Yeah, no. But actually, that's a good like. So hang on. So we have to play that Tottenham game, right? That's
Thursday.
That's our third to last game of the season, I think, or fourth to last game of the season. So by that point, may not matter.
Fifth to last, because then after that you host West Ham, away to Forest, away to Brighton, home to Bournemouth.
At least you finish the season at home.
How?
What do you mean how?
Hang on a second.
What's good?
We have to play West Ham 3 days after.
While you look that up, let me go ahead and continue on with some of these tweets. I read this part already. Let's continue on. There is obviously a chance. There's obviously a chance. There is obviously a chance a change is necessary if results don't improve, but Chelsea's owners don't want to do anything rash due to a belief that all manner of factors have led to a disappointing season to date, ranging from the young squad to injuries. Well, the young squad, because you guys fucking okay. That's actually kind of insane. Okay. Plus, right now there's still hope the season can be turned around. What? Okay. I'm trying not to get triggered reading this. Okay. Sources have said Mauricio Pochettino is safe despite the draw at Bramall Lane. It is understood that owners believe in the potential of the team and they're confident they will qualify for Europe, even if it's the Conference League, according to I am Raman. I think I am Raman Osman. There you go. Yeah, got it. I got it there last minute. Under Mauricio Pochettino, Chelsea are on course to set a club record for most goals conceded in the Premier League since it began in 1992, which we're well aware of already. I just wanted to bring it back up because we didn't really discuss it, but we have broken that club record with how many goals conceded now so far? 54.
We are 2 away from that benchmark.
It's happening. How many games?
So 55. We're 53 right now.
Yeah,
I believe so.
It's already broken.
I'm pretty sure because Andrew was the one. Andrew, who's the one who told me about it, and I'm pretty sure he said after the last game we were 2 away.
Yeah, he was the one to say. Yeah.
It's
already broken, by the way.
Scott, you want to go ahead and say our schedule so we know when we're going to hit that benchmark?
Nuts. It's not nuts in terms of who we play. It's nuts in terms of the days. Like it's stupid. One of those seasons, I think it's. Oh, now I'm looking at it. I'm not sure. One of those 2 seasons, I can't remember which one is our worst ever finish, by the way, which was 13th. But yeah, our schedule at the end is stupid. So we played Tottenham at home, right, on the 2nd of May. 3 days later, we play West Ham at home. Then we have 6 days. Not too bad. We play Forest away. Then 4 days later, we play Brighton away. And then 4 days later, we play Bournemouth at home. Fuck.
Here's a game. Here's a game I want to.
Stupid.
Here's a game I want to play. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What team is going to not score 2 goals against you? How many teams? Are there any?
Everton score at least 1 or 2 against us.
Of all the teams we're playing from now to the end of the season, I was going to say, we're conceding in every game between now and the end of the season.
I don't think we keep it clean. I think Everton score 2, Arsenal scores 3, Villa score 2. Tottenham scores. There'll be Spursy.
Oh my
1.
god, we're going individual scores right now.
West Ham.
Well,
No, Marshall. We're trying to figure out how. We're trying to figure out like how this is possible that you finish top 6 because your defense.
Excuse me.
Like you've conceded 2 goals in 8 straight games. So.
I'll put it this way, Steve. I'll put it this way. We play 8 more league games between now and the end of the season. We're conceding at least 12 goals.
Mm-hmm.
At least,
and that would put you at 60.
It will put us on 64. We are 3 away, by the way, of this benchmark of 55. We're 3 away. That'll put us on 64 goals conceded. In a 38-game season, 64 goals.
We're not.
See 12 more.
I'm thinking maybe Nottingham Forest. You know, I think we might keep one.
Forest will score against us.
I'm thinking maybe Cho might do something for fuck's sake. Maybe Bournemouth.
All right,
Gibbs White.
Gibbs White.
Chris will score on us corner or something. I don't know.
You probably have to die a heavy dose of they're in a relegation battle tax.
Yeah.
Chris, we conceded last season Serge Aurier at that club, so all bets are off.
We just conceded a goal. We conceded 2 goals to a team who, before the game against us, hadn't scored 30 league goals this season. What are we doing?
Bad game, you know.
They statistically are scoring less than a goal a game, and they scored 2 against us.
Mm-hmm.
We had to be nice.
This is the Chelsea.
Wow.
This is what we have become.
Actually, you know what? I think you keep 1 clean sheet this year when Spurs go to your ground.
No, we haven't kept.
They're scoring. They're scoring. What are we talking about clean sheets? We haven't kept a clean sheet.
I know you kept
because they're genuinely Spursy. Because I thought they were gonna beat us today.
They're scoring. They're scoring. I'm sorry, they're scoring.
You were gonna score against fucking Emil Kraft. Fucking Jacob Murphy is a right back, and Dan Burns.
Just win every time.
I don't care.
When you top 6 this season.
They're scoring.
Maybe we might be the charitable ones that let them score. I don't know.
Bro, literally, when we went to their ground, we conceded to Kulusevski, who's having a mid-season.
No,
where did we finish last season, by the way?
A bad
12.
We
finished 12th, yeah.
You'll finish. So let's see.
Yeah, we did 12. Do you know what's mad is we currently have the same amount of points that we finished on last season.
That's crazy. Let's continue these tweets because there's more, guys. There's more. I love it. This is a big portion. Oh shit, I fucked up. All right, let's continue on here. Mauricio Pochettino has grown noticeably more eager to draw attention to the structural limitations. It is abundantly clear he does not believe he has the necessary tools to do a better job. Deeply underwhelming, though it is to many supporters. Let's continue
Every
on.
structure but his.
Yeah. Dude, this guy really doesn't want to take account of. Okay, let me continue. Mauricio Pochettino fears Chelsea's downfall could be that their mega money stars are too comfortable, having delivered a speech to his squad this week about slipping standards ahead of Premier League showdown with Manchester United. Continuing on, the key question is whether co-sporting directors Stuart Winstanley and, by extension, co-owners Bowley and Clearlake agree with Pochettino's contention that he cannot reasonably be expected to do better with what he has at his disposal, according to Liam Toomey. Okay, well, oh my God, this guy. Quotes! This is Scott's favorite part. This is everyone's favorite part. The quotes. I came from a different club, and it is normal. You need to convince supporters. I arrived to Chelsea in a different project to what it was in the last 20 years. I play with my reputation to come here, also in a project that is to build a team with young players, talented players, given the possibility, the potential top players. Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino said he has risked his reputation by joining the club, but believes their supporters are finally ready to co-sign his Tottenham pass to history. Wait, what?
Consign, not co-sign, consign.
Consign. Oh, I've never heard that word in my life.
No, you have. Consigned to a defeat.
I have not. That's a
they were consigned. So, for example, the fucking Wrexham players were consigned to to the defeat when they heard Real Madrid were their next opponents. Like they knew they were gonna fucking lose.
Fair enough.
It's like an acceptance. That's what.
Gotcha. Well, good to know, ladies and gents. I hope you learned something as well. Maybe
I'm
the stupid one.
Football.
Mauricio Pochettino says he wants to build a genuine relationship with the fans. We knew it was a massive challenge to build a team to win games, to be competitive, and to take the risk with the fans. I am not going to be populist. I said from the beginning, I want to build a genuine relationship, not to kiss the badge or to do stupid things on the touchline to win the benefit of the fans. Ask whether Mauricio Pochettino fears his players may be too much in the comfort zone to compete. He said, yes, I agree. It was one subject we were talking about. Mauricio Pochettino was questioned the meaning of potential, insisting his Chelsea side must win today, as he admitted his players must improve their mentalities to do so. And that's it. That's it. Like that's the Mauricio Pochettino clown show, guys. That's it. But
I'm not a clown. I'm a coach.
I can't wait till he's gone.
I am going to soundboard that. I am not a clown. I am a coach.
He is just the most despicable little gremlin cockroach of a manager I've ever heard in my entire life. He's a pathetic excuse for a man. Like honest to God, he's an absolute cockroach. And the day he's gone is going to be a joyous occasion. Like,
listen,
the way he speaks, bro. Like you would think he speaks the same way like Brendan Rodgers speaks. But like, and Brendan Rodgers is actually about the same amount. To be fair, like he speaks. Like he's like, you know how like people who have worked under Jose speak, like they have that similar level of arrogance but haven't done anything. Like he's the same thing. Like you'd think with the way he talks that he worked like he's a Jose disciple. Like he speaks with so much arrogance for someone who's done fuck all in the world of football. Like sweet FA.
Yeah,
man's talking about risk his reputation, brother. Where else were you going? Who else was offering
your
you
reputation
jobs?
was already downhill, to be honest, after the season you had with PSG. Like
I was gonna say, who else was offering you jobs? No one.
Exactly.
And where else? No one's offering you jobs after this season anyway, because you fucking stink.
He's just like Joe Biden, but like 40 years ago. That's what he is. Joe Biden from 40 years ago. Because he makes absolutely no fucking sense. Just word salad.
I've got one question for him as well. Like, were we not risking our reputation by bringing him in? You know?
Yeah. Guy's an ex-Spurs manager.
Also, go and
he's doing a shit job.
By the way, go and look at the way that Tuchel spoke about his time here in terms of like what he had to do here, and go and look at Poch's. Tuchel was on like what was it, a 3-year contract, and was talking about had to do things now because he didn't have the time. Despite the fact having a 3-year contract, talked about not having the time to being able to like take your time with it because he had a 3-year contract and he understood that. I think at the start it wasn't it a 1.5 year or something. He was like time. This guy's got 1 year left on his contract after this year, and he's talking about things going to take 3 to 5 years. Brother, you're not going to be here. Like, let's say for example he makes it into next season. Like, he genuinely.
I think he will, by the way.
Success. He genuinely sees this season as a success because otherwise, there's no other way that you'll get. Like, there's no way you're getting an extension unless you think it unless it's been a success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like he sees it as a success. He sees this season as a success.
This is what bothers me, right? I understand that there's a lot of issues within the club. What bothers me is that he's coming out now and expressing his frustrations with the club. One, he's not taking any accountability whatsoever. None whatsoever. He's blaming the structure. He's blaming the young kids that he has and all this stuff. Brother, you took the job knowing very damn well what you were getting into. They must have. Because there's a reason why Nagelsmann said no to the job, right? There must have been a reason why Nagelsmann said no to the job.
Yeah.
Why? You must have been informed that this was going to be a younger team. You already knew the transfers that were leaving. You knew what you had ahead of you, and you spoke with Chess at the beginning of the season as well. You were confident you can get it done. But now that you're falling behind you're falling under the expectation that you put on yourself, now you want to blame everything around you. That's insane to me. Absolutely insane to me. The absolutely tone deaf acceptance of accountability is so crazy. Let me see. Let me find this tweet that really, really like triggered me.
Well, he's literally like an elite politician.
Mm-hmm.
He's a piece of shit.
He would be an elite politician, bro. I'm telling you.
He's a piece of shit.
Fucking now. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. And guess what? Politicians are mostly pieces of shit. So, I mean, yeah.
Oh, this was the other tweet that actually annoyed me, was this one. Because this one annoys me about the ownership, if this is true that Ben Jacobs is saying. They don't want to do anything rash because of all manner of factors have led to disappointing season to date, ranging from young squad to injuries. Okay, the injuries no one anticipated. But you guys, the recruitment, you guys made a young squad.
They talk about it all the time. We collect young talent. We collect young talent. And then at their words and their actions, they double down, essentially, right? You say something, then you do it, that's doubling down. And so, now you're using it as the crutch.
And the thing is, by the way, no one's saying that there aren't any complications with having young players, but you should have factored that into your original targets.
Yes.
This just goes to show that either A, they haven't factored that in to their targets, or B, they never had targets to begin with.
Yeah.
That's all it says to me.
Even like picking up on that in January and correcting it. It took you to this part of the season to realize that the youth part of your model was an issue. Like, have some self-awareness, please. It's absolutely insane to me. But again, then we go to Poch, right? Like, let me see if I can find the other tweet on Poch that freaking annoyed me, was his stupid.
But by the way, Vic, no one said he had to. No one said he had to do
Enrique
it.
didn't walk away. I love how people want to rewrite.
Yeah, Enrique
did not walk away.
Enrique did not.
The club said no to Enrique.
Enrique wanted a level of transfer control that we weren't willing to give.
Exactly.
Enrique wanted us to basically undo everything we were aiming towards doing.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Particularly the wingers.
And okay, and again, this quote. It is abundantly clear he does not believe he has the necessary tools to do a better job. Deeply underwhelming, though it is to many supporters. Dude, you have plenty of tools to be dominant against a Middlesbrough and not lose that game. You had plenty of tools to beat Sheffield and Burnley this season. You had plenty of tools to get results in games where you were supposed to get. Again, you had plenty of tools to get a result the first time against Manchester United, who's been absolutely dog shit this season.
Yeah.
No one told you to play Levi Colwill left back.
He needs a complete 11, a perfect 11 that's molded exactly to his liking to be a Sheffield United team that have conceded 80 goals across the whole season. He played a centre mid at left wing for balance.
Yeah, but Vic, this is literally different than what you said about Enrique walking away. The club declined.
Yeah, so
the club also declined him.
Said no. It wasn't a case of the man said no. The club said no, go away. Mm-hmm. With Nagelsmann, it was like they wanted him and he said no.
Yeah.
This is interesting from Adam. If Poch stays next season, I'm giving him a clean slate, no other options. See what he does with stronger squad. That's all theoretical, though.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Fuck that. Like, respectfully. Fuck that. Like, that means I'm not giving him a clean slate because the whole point of a manager coming in, and this is the problem United are having with Ten Hag, is the whole point of that first season should be imprinting your stamp and your system on the players. So he doesn't get a clean slate because he failed. Like, why should he get next season to implement his system? Do that first. That's the first thing you do when you go in as a manager. That's the first thing you do. You implement your system for the most part. Like, you might change it a little bit for certain reasons, right? Like Arteta in his first season didn't do that. He played a counter-attacking system because it fitted the players he had, but he had a clear idea in his mind of where we're going to next, and it worked because he won an FA Cup doing that. Doing David Luiz long ball to Aubameyang in behind, and it worked.
Yeah.
And then next season, he told all these dudes that fitted that system but didn't fit his system, peace.
Mm-hmm.
Then Adam, this is a failure. Your system cannot ever in football, by the way, and this isn't just a Pochettino thing, this is a global thing. Your system can never be reliant on one player, ever.
Because it's a team sport.
Unless that player is Messi or Ronaldo, and even then that's ludicrous, it can never be based on one player. Because the thing is as well, it's not even from an availability perspective. It's if I know, for example, right, if I'm a team and I know, cool, this system is entirely dependent on this player, I'll just mark that player out the game.
Yes.
Adam, I'll tell you what I'm going to do if Pochettino stays. I'm not going to watch next season. I am a second-year undergraduate maths student going into third year. I do not need this guy in my life anymore. This is already enough. I've got a life to build. I'm not watching this team while he is the manager beyond May. It's not happening.
No, I get it. It's I have to, just because I run a channel and I love Chelsea too much to not. But it is insanely frustrating to me, the things that obviously the ownership have a big part to blame, because even they aren't taking accountability for the fact that like they're not holding Pochettino accountable and taking the blame to a certain extent for the youth model that they established. They identified that this was an issue for why Pochettino may be struggling, but when given the opportunity to fix it, they didn't seem like they took much action. But also Pochettino in general just not fucking taking any accountability whatsoever, and that is very frustrating.
You know what it is? Because I just realized when you said, you're right, the owner didn't take your ownership or none of the non-footballing people that own the club take responsibility. Neither is Poch. Maybe there is a bad cultural trend going on at Chelsea where it's never my fault, your fault kind of thing. Maybe that, because the way you act at the top can go down to the bottom. And you know what? Eventually, it's going to go to the players. It's going to go to the players.
And we are lucky that we're not there yet, by the way, because with the incentivized contracts and whatnot, they can't. They do get penalized for not performing well.
But eventually, bro, it becomes deeper than a money thing.
You've got to kill the rock.
These young players will get so fucking frustrated that they will have their break. Everyone has a breaking point, regardless of the incentive. The incentives is like the what's it called? The Gorilla Glue on the sinking Titanic.
Right.
Maybe I don't know. But like it'll help for a little bit, but eventually that it's gonna burst. That's what it is. So I think maybe that's the one thing to look out for. Like if a player starts to like more than just Palmer get frustrated and shit like that, or like. So I think that's an interesting. When you said that, I was like, "Oh shit, you're right." Poch don't take responsibility. The owners don't. That might be a bad cultural thing that's going on, and that's not good.
Of course. I mean, all that being said, I only hope that going forward, things do improve. That's the only thing I could wish for. I agree, Scott, and. I hate to say it, and I hate to keep repeating myself. Based on the data, Poch's recent performances haven't been bad. They've actually been improving based on the data. But I still don't think it's. If you look at the new year, I would say, or at least since Liverpool, the loss.
No, but it depends what data you look at. The only data that actually supports that is the fact we haven't. No, not even results. It's the fact we haven't lost the game. If you look at the actual results, just drew to Burnley and Sheffield United. No one in any way, shape, or form can turn that into a positive. We drew to the worst two teams in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. I agree, and the football is not convincing, and it's not even like Ten Hag. Like we're getting results and we're in a better spot in the table. Like the football is not convincing, and the performance and the results aren't even there either.
And you know what it is? They're starting not to get results now. They haven't won a game in a minute.
Yeah,
Man
it's been
United.
a while since they have
not won a game in a minute. And Newcastle, we're catching fire at the right moment. We're above them now. We're above them. We're above Man United. We're on the same points, but our goal difference is 18 better than theirs. I think we finished above them, to be honest.
I don't think he's going to get the sack, even if he doesn't get Europe, because I just think the ownership, like I said, are going to look at our results.
Then we start next season. That's cool and all. Then we start next season on the back foot. Then we start next season in the negative. That'll be however many months he's here is however many months of the season will have wasted. That's cool. I just hope the next man that they bring in can change that.
Let's see what happens. I only hope for the best with Chelsea. I really want to turn things around. I really want things to look better for us. I don't want us to fail. I don't want us to keep having this discussion of Chelsea is our shit. We're in 11th. We're in 10th. We're in 9th. I want to be competing. I want to be in at least the top 6 constantly. I don't want to have the season we've had this season, you know? So we'll see what happens. Time will tell. But big up to everyone. Big up to everyone in the chat. All our members, Vic, Adam, Soliman, so on and so forth.
Fuck you, Joseph Martinez.
Big up Steve for joining us and chilling with us for this whole entire podcast, live podcast, 3.5 hours in. If you watch the whole entire thing, big up to you guys as well. Give yourselves a round of applause for being a trooper. And also leave a comment down below. Let us know if you did actually watch this the whole way through. But we're going to go ahead and raid out as we usually do. We're going to go ahead and raid out Sarcasm City, who is still live right now. I'm sure talking about the result of the Bournemouth game today for him. Didn't go too well for him, unfortunately. And yeah, as always, guys, smash that like. It helps us with the algorithm. Subscribe. Don't get caught lacking. Don't be like Tottenham today, okay? Don't be like United today. Smash the subscribe button as well, because it helps us out. We're on our way to 3K. Give us a better conversion rate. Don't underperform. Do better. Take accountability. Don't be a Pochettino. Don't be Blueco. All right? Do better. So subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Let's get to 3,000 subscribers at some point, please, sooner rather than later. Check out the links in the description so you guys know where to find more content. Leave a comment down below. And as always, I give shout outs to our proper casuals and higher tiered members at the end of every show. Big up to you guys because you help us tremendously in keeping the lights running in this on this channel. And that's going to go out to Suprotin, M3, Adam CFC, Wasabi Meets World, Horizont, Hereditar, B-Man, JC, IE1, Gabriel A, Ishi, A Soliman, EE, Hassan Nawaz, Uncle Jester, Will, OG Triple Jesus, and Dark. And special shout outs to Real Chris as well as Oliver, who have been now members for over a year, and they just joined us in the Cement Mixer gang. So big up to our Cement Mixer gang, big up to our proper casuals, and big up to our other normal casuals as well, who are members of the channel. So ladies and gents, as always, you already know, smash up the like, copy and paste the raid message. Let's go over to... Oh, wow, I just had a brain fart. Let's go over to Sarcasm City and let them know where you're coming from. We'll catch you again. No show tomorrow, as I'll be away. We'll catch you Monday evening to discuss the result of the Chelsea-Everton game. Chelsea-Everton, right? Yeah, Chelsea-Everton. Everton-Chelsea. That'll be fun. Hopefully it's a victory for Chelsea. Hopefully. Jesus Christ, we need one. But all right, guys. See you later. See you over on Sarcasm City. Have a wonderful night. And as always, stay casual. Peace.